Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. I am your host, Carl Duty. Welcome to the Devil's Due. Forgetting how to do this because it's been so long since we've been here in the courthouse. But with me, as always, is the man who has now made it his life's mission to beat Budweiser to Mars, Mr. Drew Celestino.
Anything I can do to beat Budweiser, I will do.
Have you heard what they're doing?
No.
Budweiser has said they want to be the first beer on Mars. So on the next supply mission or whatever to the International Space Station, they are sending up a package of hops seeds to be kept for when a trip to Mars is made so that they can make beer.
So they can own... It's not enough for them to buy up entire fields of land in South Africa so that they can take over hop production so that everyone else can't have them. They have to do it on Mars too.
It is the red planet, and one of their primary, team colors, quote unquote, is red. So I mean, I guess it makes sense.
I'm glad
they might have a. I wonder if they'll have a race with Coca-Cola.
Did this happen while I was away?
This happened either yesterday or the day before.
Oh, okay. So, I was going to say I'd rather be away.
It's something I heard on another podcast. I'm like, that'll make a nice little intro.
Sure.
So here we are. We are back again. It may not seem so long for the listener because they only had 1 week without a show.
Yeah.
We have not recorded an episode in 3 weeks.
Well, it's like riding a bike. We'll get through this
We'll
together.
find it because we had our banked episode 2 weeks ago with Mr. J. Gelsomino, and last week I experimented with Facebook Live and did a quick little Q&A.
How'd that go?
That worked out all right. We had some of the show regulars and whatnot pop on.
Okay, did you do that on a whim or did you announce it first?
I did it on a. You know what? I thought about it. I meant to announce it, but life found a way
to
give me the time where I was planning on doing it, and I hadn't announced it yet. I know one thing we're coming up, obviously, in the holidays and New Year and whatnot. One thing I definitely myself need to get better at is our social media presence. Need to be tweeting more. Need to be Facebook posting more.
You're the friendly one, so you got to do that stuff.
Well, you can help out too.
I do quite a bit.
You could help out too.
So, I mean, I'm also the tech arm of the operation here. So,
yeah, well, how much would you say you do here? Because 10 minutes after I leave, the show's posted.
No. Maybe the next morning, but there's work to be done. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see about all this business.
I'm just saying, the people, despite what you may think, people want to hear your voice.
I don't think they do.
Want to hear mine.
I find as I get older, I think less and less people want to hear what I have to say.
No.
But the less they're subjected to me, the better. I should have stayed in Thailand. But anyway.
So here we are back again, starting out with the opening statements, and I'm just going to sit here because I'm guessing this is going to be a lengthy one.
Oh, dear.
I'm guessing, folks, it's going to be a long show. Buckle up, sit tight.
You don't know that.
We're going to have a good time today. So, Drew.
Yeah.
How was Thailand?
Thailand was amazing, man. Where do I even begin? I'll begin with something show topical. Okay. I believe I brought this up in chat with you guys. So Street Fighter has led me to believe that Sagat is a 7-foot-tall Thai man.
Yes.
That's a lie. I know because I've been there, and no one's clearing 5'10" in that country. Okay?
There are exceptions to the rule.
I was practically tall there, sir.
Felt good, didn't it?
It did. I'm like,
is this what it's like for everyone else back in America?
They're like me. It's a whole country of me. I kind of liked it. So yeah, that everyone else in Street Fighter, plausible. Sagat, no. No.
So you're saying Dalsum and Blanca are more plausible than Sagat?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I'm just saying there are exceptions.
Not that I saw.
The population of China is not renowned for their height, yet they gave us Yao Ming.
It's funny you should say that because there was a lot of Chinese tourists that I encountered in my travels,
yes.
and they're some tall folks there.
Okay. All right.
There's something in the water up there now. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Thailand was absolutely incredible. Bangkok, not so much. You could do that in a day. Hit the big sites, which are beautiful, by the way. The Grand Palace and the Wat Po Temple are absolutely gorgeous. And we did a really fantastic night bike ride through Bangkok, which was really cool because you get to get off the main roads and go down the back alleys, and like their back alleys, dude. It's not like just an alley. Like it's like people get mail in these alleys. There's businesses in these alleys. Like it's a whole. It's hard to explain, but like it's not just like, oh, the dumpster's back there. No, like you go down there and like, oh, there's like storefronts back there. It's pretty wild. So we got to see all that lit up at night and got around the city, and that was cool. Crossed the river, got on a ferry, got to carry your bike on and off and stuff. It was pretty wild, and it was great. But by and large, though, Bangkok, it's filthy, dirty, not good. Not a fan of Bangkok. Unfriendly, dirty. See the sights for a day, get out of there. Khao Lak, Phuket area, beach area.
Yeah.
Oh, dear sir. I have never seen water so blue and so clear in all of my life. And sand so white and soft. It was mind-bending. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Went to the Similan Islands out that way. So it was an hour boat ride from Khao Lak out to the Similan Islands. We got to do some snorkeling and some beach out there. Just gorgeous. Just beautiful. All the hotels we stayed in obviously were great. I kind of, in Sir David Attenborough fashion, we spared no expense.
You mean Richard Attenborough?
Richard, whatever. David Attenborough was the
AKA
nature
John
guy.
Hammond.
Yeah, him, that guy. And then Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai was actually our favorite city by a lot.
Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful city, not like Bangkok at all. Smaller, friendlier, cleaner. Just all around much, much, much cooler place to be than Bangkok. Kind of felt like California. I can't explain that.
California.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. There were no dinosaur statues, but Chiang Mai's kind of settled into the mountains.
Yep.
So as I'm looking over a low profile cityscape, and I look up and there's a mountain there, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of like California. Like it's kind of like LA, where you're looking over and like, oh, there's the mountain. Or San Francisco, kind of the same thing. Like if you're down the hill, you're in a city and you look, oh, there's the mountain. It just had a subtle reminder of California to me. But beautiful, very Western friendly, and just overall just a great time in Chiang Mai. The highlight of the trip, obviously, was the elephant park that we went to. 300 acres of land for these elephants that have all been rescued from riding and logging and street begging and other inhumane practices that elephants are engaged in over there. So we got to feed, bathe, and just generally be among them for 2 days, walking around, hanging out, and they're just there. Like, they're just there.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's just incredible to be that close to such an animal. It really is. I couldn't stop saying wow, like every time I would just, walk by one and hang out with one. It's really a surreal moment, and it was just absolutely amazing. I'm lacking words to quantify how amazing it was, really.
Did you ever at any point in your time with the Gentle Giants?
Yes.
Pretend you were a snow speeder. And,
no.
try to run around them with a rope.
No, I have a great respect for them, so I didn't want to do anything to upset them or tease them.
I didn't say you'd actually tie them up.
Oh,
and
I know.
Them. I'm just saying,
No, it was advised by our guides that you want to stay in the elephant's line of sight, so don't get behind them. Don't get too close behind them, especially because if they kick back, you're in trouble.
Well, you're dead.
Yeah, so you generally want to stay within their line of sight, and when they dude, an elephant is big, but by no means are they slow. Like they lumber, but they're so large, they cover ground quickly. So when you got to get out of the way, you got to get out of the way quick, very fast. it was just very very humbling to be in the presence of these animals. Similarly, we did a visit to the Tiger Kingdom, which I was assured by our guide for the day that they are an ethical park. I was very concerned about that, but he assured us that the animals were not drugged, they were not tied down, they were not, hurt in any way to be there for our entertainment, so to speak. So I took him at his word. We went to the Tiger Kingdom, and I got to pet a baby white tiger, and I got to experience a full. Well, I'm not sure if it was full grown. Here's why. Okay, so when you do the tiger thing,
yeah,
you get to choose the size of tiger you'd like to see, and I'm like, well, the baby's one. So there's baby, small, medium, large. I'm like, well, we get to pick two with our visit today. So we're gonna do the baby because the babies, they're adorable. Yeah. And let's do the large. We'll see the smallest and the largest. Let's do that. And they said, okay, come over here, line up on the wall. And on the wall, there is a height scale. And they said,
you must be this tall to survive this experience.
You must be this tall to go into the live tiger environment. And I was just shy. And they said, you can't go into you can't see the large. They'll think you're prey.
I'm like, you know what?
Terrified.
We're good with the medium then.
Yes.
I saw a baby. I'm good. I don't need to see anything.
So we saw the medium. Sir, a medium tiger is gigantic. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm scared to see the large tiger because the medium was huge. Its head was the size of your torso.
Yep.
Its paw was the size of your head.
I saw the pictures. You're a better man than I for going in because I like to think I have an immense respect for nature and its ability to kill me. So dude. I don't like if I'm ever at a beach, I don't go in the ocean. Yeah. You know why? I'm no longer the alpha predator in that environment.
I understand.
You know what? I don't go camping in a tent. Because there's no reason I need to give a bear an easy meal in a sealed package that it can easily open. And you know what? I'm not going in the jungle. I'm not going to Australia because of the things there that can easily kill me.
This is a bad time to tell you that I saw a spider the size of my hand in our accommodations at the Elephant Nature Park.
Yeah, see, that's fine. That you do you.
In any case, you'll notice if you see any of my pictures of me with the tigers that I have a very
scared.
See, it's
tepid.
It's twofold. It's a healthy fear, but it's also a healthy respect. And the guys that were in the cage not cage. I mean, it's a giant pen that they just hang around in, right? But the guys in there. It's just two guys, and they're kids. They're like 19-year-old kids, like the kids that work at Darien Lake or working at the Tiger Park. And
I'm sure they've grown up around it their entire lives.
And all they have is just a stick, and it's not like a cattle prod. It literally just a stick, a real thin, like a big pencil. That's what it looked like. That's all they have, and they're just kind of like telling the tiger, like, hey, if it gets a little unruly, they don't hit it. They just kind of rub it on its hand and say, hey, chill. Hey, chill. And it chills, and it's like, all right, whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's those two guys and me in this tiger pen, and it's like, they're fearless, and I'm trying to be cool, and they're telling me like, no, pet it. It's okay. Put your head on it. Put your head on it, and like, I'm like, dude,
no.
But it was more so. It was like again a healthy fear, but also again a healthy respect. I don't want to, I just don't want to make this animal some kind of prop for me to pose with. You know what I mean?
Like, you don't want to get a tiger uppercut to the face.
No, again, there's that, but there's also that respect factor where I just feel that I don't want to be the
It's
guy.
not an amusement park ride that takes your picture at the right moment.
Right. I mean, and these guys were joking and taking the pictures and trying to get me to act all, cool with it. And it's like, I get that, but I just felt weird about it. But again,
not your average stupid American.
No.
Smarter than the average stupid American.
I like to think so. That actually, just a quick aside, because we'll wrap things up here a little bit in a moment. Being over there, dude, and just being away from the American circus for a while was very relieving and cathartic.
Yeah.
And all I could think, honestly, was I think every American should be mandated to get off the continent.
Yeah, I can see
once
that.
in their life, just to understand and realize that your perspective as an American is very, very small.
Yeah. I'm not a big traveler myself personally, but I get there's value to that.
Even if, put it this way, even if you just go, we take it for granted because we're from Buffalo, New York, and we share a border with Canada. Even if Middle America just visited Toronto or Vancouver or something, just get out of your bubble a little bit and realize that there is a world out there. And, they're just as valid as you or I, and, it's their lives don't they're relying on tourism and stuff like that. In Thailand, that is, so like they're used to, they're somewhat reliant on visitors. So, I mean, I was going to say that we don't matter to them, but I don't want to be, wrong about that.
Yeah.
But like, my point is other places that what Donald Trump is doing in every waking moment doesn't really matter. I mean, they think he's a joke too. They asked me how I felt about it, and I was like, not shy. But you know what I mean? Like their day-to-day life, dude. It's like they don't care what's happening in some city, and
Did they kind of approach you about Trump like someone might approach someone who's recently lost a family member?
No, not exactly.
How you doing?
They kind of prod, just because they want to feel they want to feel me out for how they don't want to outright just say he's a joke because they don't know how I might respond. Yeah. I'm guessing they have a lot of American tourists, and maybe some of them are Trump supporters, and they don't want to get off on the wrong foot in the form. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but once they prodded me and I kind of let loose, they all just laughed. They're just like, "Wow, yeah, that's it. Sucks." It was cool though, man, 'cause I had a really good conversation with our one guide in Chiang Mai, and he was cool guy. Spoke really good English, also spoke German, and he gets around a lot. He's been to the States, he's been to Germany for long stretches of time. He's a professional tour guide. He goes all over the world just doing these tours for the company he works for. And he was asking me about America because he's only visited like once, and I just kind of gave him my perspective on our country and the Trump stuff, and how guns and whatnot, and and he's like, you're the first American to really be this kind of, to give me this kind of perspective on anything. He's like, and I was just like, well, I hope you take it for what it's worth, and don't. It feels like he was surprised to hear me criticize so much. At the same time, though, I put over like, you got to come over here. I know some things I told you are weird, but it's really cool.
We are cool. Not the sum of our popular culture.
No, I kind of relayed to him like, dude, the city's, he's like, my ex-wife lives in San Diego. I'm like, you ever been there? And I think he said he was, but I'm not sure. I'm like, dude, San Diego's awesome. Like, you like craft beer? San Diego's amazing. Yeah. The weather's beautiful every day. San Francisco, it's beautiful. You'll love it there. New York City, life unto itself, but it's awesome. You'd love it. So it's like, I'm not, I wasn't dumping on our fine nation because I don't want to dump on our fine nation. But I just gave him some other perspectives of things that were kind of on my mind while I was over there as an American. I made some Scottish friends. That was kind of cool.
Nice.
Two different groups of Scottish people. It was really strange. What are the odds? In two different cities. Just cool trip, man. And somehow, don't ask me how. I don't know. The travel gods smiled upon me on our way home. We had a 30-hour travel time to get home, right? And half of that was a 13-hour flight from Shanghai to Toronto.
30-hour travel time, which involved time travel.
Indeed, it did. I went back 12 hours in time.
Got to get back in time.
Somehow, some way, I don't know, we were upgraded to business class on that long flight, sir.
Business class, man. He can't roll with that.
I'm just going to put this out there.
Okay.
I'll never fly economy again.
Oh, I think you will when you see the ticket prices for business class.
Yeah. I jest because I know what that ticket cost, and I don't know how the hell we got away with it, man.
What was the ticket cost for the business class?
$7,000.
Yeah.
And they gave it to us.
Wow.
Don't ask me how we pulled this off. I refused. Jen had the tickets, and she's like, "This has business class on it." And she's all getting hyped up, like, and we're still hours away on our layover. She's like, "Look at this! It says business class on it. I think they upgraded us." And here's me, like, Nah.
Yeah.
I refused to, until I was in the seat, I refused to believe it. I'm like, we're going to get up to the counter. They're going to call our names and be like, there's been a mistake.
See, every time I would hear a flight attendant's footsteps, I'd get nervous. Like, is this where they're coming to kick us out? Did they realize the mess up?
Once we were in, though, man.
And that was business class. It wasn't even first class.
No, it's the same. In
thing?
In this case, it's the same thing. It's like a pod. Like, I've got my own pod. And in the pod, I've got like this giant, almost a desk arm on my left. I've got a giant monitor I can move around in front of me.
Ooh.
I've got a chair that fully reclines into a bed.
Ooh.
I had a down comforter. They fluffed my pillow when we sat down. And that is not a euphemism.
Could you hook your Switch up to the monitor?
No.
Bummer.
No, because it's USB-C and, you know. There were power outlets in my pod, so I could plug the Switch right in, which I did, of course.
Yeah.
5-course meal with options, mind you, for the appetizer and for the main course and for the dessert. I got to choose.
Okay.
It wasn't the best food, but it was pretty good.
Better in economy.
Champagne and orange juice when I sat down, and free booze if I wanted it for the whole flight, which I didn't really partake because I wanted to sleep. I was trying to adjust my sleep schedule on this flight.
Well, that's when you take the free booze. You take it, beforehand.
I was already pretty tired at that point, actually. So as soon as we were in the air, I put I reclined the chair into bed position, zonked out for 6 hours. Sounds like a lot when you wake up and realize there's 7 hours to go on the flight. So,
yeah, well, yeah.
I beat Super Mario Odyssey on the flight.
Was that that 7-hour chunk?
I say beat loosely.
How many moons?
I'm up to 280 something now.
How many are there total in the game?
Like 1,000.
Okay. But still got some work to do?
Still got some work to do. And I will say this, though. When you do, air quotes, beat the game, it opens up basically another game. So, there's more to do. I do want to point out, I think as I get older, I'm getting much softer. But it's also a testament to the design of the game. There are portions in Super Mario Odyssey where I literally welled up in tears.
Okay.
It has sections that just are outright celebrations of Mario.
Nice.
It's hard to explain, but there's like 2 points in particular, 3 actually, where it's just like this perfect storm of the gameplay, the music choice that they do, and the presentation. That it's just like, look at Mario and love him.
Yeah.
And it hit me right in the feels, man.
I've seen like scenes from where like you go in a pipe and all of a sudden you're just standard 2D 8-bit Mario.
Yeah. There's every level has a couple of those, but like in the one in particular, I'll spoil it for you. It's not really you'll see, but it's not really a spoiler. In the city, the New Donk City portion.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain point and you have enough moons and you complete the little objectives in that part, you get to this part where you go into the pipe, you go into 2D mode, but it's like the Donkey Kong beams and the Donkey Kong barrels and stuff. And that song, that Mario Odyssey jazzy song with the vocal line and all that is kicking, and you're just doing it's not. You got to jump over stuff, but it's not a challenge portion, really. It's more just like, have fun and go up to this part. Yeah. And you get to the top, and Donkey Kong's there, and the song lyrics are kicking, and it's just a feel-good celebration of Mario. Nice. And I felt like, and I'm playing, I'm like, this is beautiful. Like, that's how I felt. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. Nice. It really hit me, and it's really hard to explain. The ending portion, air quotes, of the game, the final boss part before it opens up a whole new game. That is clever as hell, and if you are a longtime Mario player, especially, it once again right in the nostalgia feels. Yep, cleverly done, rather brilliantly done, mind you, and again the song. That music with the vocal again, man.
Do they make you sick of the song at any point? Okay. They don't kill it?
No.
All right.
No. It's great. And then when you do beat the game, air quotes, if you're a fan of Mario 64, I have good news for you. You're going to get swept up again with emotion when you see what they did for you.
I've played Mario 64.
Well, this might not hit you as much, but it hit me pretty hard.
Okay.
So, well done, Nintendo.
What
But I'm back now.
what is your game of the year then? Is it this or Breath of the Wild?
I still go with Breath of the Wild. Mario is great. It's like 1A, 1B.
Yeah.
But Mario's great. It's a joy to play, but at the same time, it just didn't have the same sense of wonder, I guess, that I got regularly with Zelda.
Okay.
It has great wonder in it, and it's a joy to just play the game. But Zelda, man, I swear, every time I went over a hill and saw something new, I just was like, wow. And every time I thought I was making real progress, I realized how much further I had to go. And so anyway.
You know what game I feel sorry for? Horizon Zero Dawn.
We said this when it came out. Like, it got overshadowed immediately.
Well, not just that, because any other year, that game is Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Hands down, no contest.
I know.
But it gets released either the same week...
I think it was the same week as Zelda.
The same week as Zelda.
Yeah.
So it's got that against it. And, like, you can simply say Horizon Zero Dawn is a much prettier, but not as in-depth Breath of the Wild.
It's more realistic in terms of graphical presentation, but, And they're similar games.
And, like,
in a lot of ways.
Recently, they came out with a massive story expansion, like a whole, not like expansion, but a whole new story to play through, DLC.
Yeah.
Same week Mario Odyssey came out.
Oh, man, this game is snake bitten. That's too bad.
Like, oh, man. That
don't feel too bad. It sold a lot of copies.
Yeah,
so
it's...
I'm back. I am back.
Back again.
It was strange actually coming home. I got in the house, dude, and it was actually after the dogs let us have it, which they were very happy we were home, and I was happy to see them actually. I got in my kitchen, dude, and I don't know if it was just the 30 hours of travel, although like I said, I did get some sleep, a good amount of sleep in there. I got in my kitchen, dude, and I'm looking around my house, and it felt weird.
Yeah.
Like, I was just staring around.
It was probably the longest you've been away from home.
It really, it actually has. It was. But it's hard to explain. I'm looking around my kitchen and it felt smaller. Like the dimensions seemed off. It was a readjustment to my home. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Very hard to explain.
I experienced that when I came home from college my freshman year. Because I went to school like right outside New York City.
Oh, okay.
So like first time I came home for like Thanksgiving break, I kind of experienced that. It was home, but not. It was just kind of off. I reacclimated after a day or so.
Right. It was just a very surreal feeling.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I had something to say about that, about coming home. Oh, about just in summation, man. Thailand was absolutely amazing. And I would advocate anyone to go. It's beautiful. It's very friendly, very Western friendly. It's very inexpensive, relatively speaking.
Well, yeah.
You can. Your money can go a long way, and you won't be wanting for much.
What's the exchange?
30 baht to the dollar, roughly. It's a rough approximation. So. Anyway, I advocate everyone go. It was just a great experience, and I'd be happy to share my itinerary with anyone who might be curious, or more than happy to help out anyone that might be curious about it. So that's what's up, man. Since I got back. Oh, well, I guess we're going to be talking about DC stuff, right?
Yep.
I watched 2 movies on the plane. I watched The Founder with Michael Keaton, once and Eternal Batman.
That's a really, really good movie.
It was fantastic.
Prime Keaton.
Man,
film.
What a great movie. What a great movie The Founder is, man. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It's great.
You don't realize, because we've had it our entire lives, and because of what it is now,
McDonald's,
you don't realize how revolutionary it was.
It really was. And I didn't know any of that story.
Yeah.
And spoiler, but not a spoiler, man. What a jerk.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the the guys kind of did it to themselves. Like they were so not involved and just didn't care. And
I don't.
like if you're gonna be like that, then you kind of deserve to have it taken from you.
I don't know. I don't. I mean, they were. They were dragging their feet for sure, but what he pulled, honestly, very unethical in my humble opinion. And then he stole Patrick. He stole Night Owl's wife.
Did steal Night Owl's
Batman
wife.
stole Night Owl's wife. There's some irony there. Just putting that out there. Spoiler alert for the movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I watched that. It was great. What a great movie. And then I watched Wonder Woman.
Yep. Finally.
After all that hype and all that money that it made and all the I watched it.
Yep. See, I think this is I said this to you when we were at theater.
Let me quantify that. Let me quantify that noise I made.
I think it's been kind of hype spoiled for you.
It was fine.
Yeah, you didn't dislike it.
No.
Yeah,
but you
enjoyed it.
It was fine, and that's all. That's all it was. So we can we pump the brakes?
I think some hype spoil might have leaked out onto it for you.
I don't know, man. Like people went nuts for this movie. It made a lot of money.
Yeah, that's kind of what hype spoil is. Like if all you hear is how great something is, and it's a long time before you experience it, then as much as you can try to go in without expectations, you're still somewhat tainted by all that hype. It was the same way with me with like the Lego movie. I had the same reaction to the Lego movie you had to Wonder Woman.
Well, that's because you have no heart, but
I have heart, sir, of the two of us. Of the two of us.
You were too busy playing with the USS Flag to have to deal with us poors and our Legos. Maybe that's what it was. You didn't have the Lego nostalgia like I did.
I had Legos. I had to use my imagination and build stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't get like a pre-made.
They didn't make them back then.
Yeah, I didn't get a pre-made X-wing Lego.
No,
I had to make my own X-wing Lego, and those us foils never went into attack position because there was no way to make it happen.
Anyway, it was Wonder Woman was fine, but that's all. And I don't want to, Gal Gadot is good in the role, but her character was dopey, and I thought, like, really, this is our big iconic hero. She's really naive, and I know that's kind of part of the story point, but like, she's really naive.
Yeah, I mean it's like we talked about the theater the other night. She's been sequestered for her entire life, and that's going to breed that kind of naivete.
I guess, man.
I think had you seen it when it first came out, before like all the like post-hit hype set in, you might have liked it a little better.
Maybe.
I'm not saying you'd be like over the moon for it, but I'm saying you might have liked it a little better. Just because of how you've said in the past, like once you hear at a certain point, once you keep hearing, you need to see this, you need to see this.
Yeah.
Good.
The wall gets built higher and higher. Yeah,
that's
fair.
Shut down.
That's fair. I did not like the Themyscira stuff. Really, the Themyscira. I don't know. It just read kind of hokey to me in presentation, especially when she's like a little girl and she's doing the karate moves and the trainings. It's like, come on with this. I thought that was kind of
their culture. They're bred as warriors from birth.
Just the way it was presented, like with her as a kid doing the. Like,
you're not saying so much the content, but the execution.
Yes, yes, better way to put it. Yeah. Because as a concept, it's I get it, and I'm fine with it. But as the way it was executed, I was kind of like, whatever.
It's kind of like we saw the same thing in 300, but it was a little more like believable.
I wasn't necessarily thinking that, but I know what you're going for there.
Yeah.
And then the worst part of that movie was the conclusion, the final act.
It stumbles in the final act. It does. It's not.
With the lame-o villain and the poor CGI. Yeah. Which I think is kind of a thing in the Warner Brothers
DC
movies
and Marvel
here.
Both have villain problems when it comes to their films. So. Yeah,
we're gonna get to all that. But anyway, Wonder Woman, a fine movie. I was underwhelmed, but it's fine. It was. Yeah. I did not dislike it. I did not hate it.
You liked it, but it's not going to go on like your top 5 list for the year.
No, let's put it this way: it's not in the Marvel tier.
Personally, I put it in the Marvel tier.
Okay.
But again, that's just personal opinion.
That's fine.
Yep.
So yeah, that's man, we're still in the opening week segments here.
Told you it was going to be a big show.
Sorry, man.
We got a lot to catch up on.
We covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah.
So that's what's been up. I'm still acclimating to the world as it is, and I find myself 2 days back at work wishing I were still
well, obviously
away. And it's not even it's not even a slight at my job. It's just getting reacclimated to kind of like life.
Yep. The
The grind, yeah. So anyway, how have you been?
45 minutes later. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Carl didn't go to Thailand.
Fitting.
He was just kind of sitting there playing Battlefront 2. Lots of Battlefront 2. So yeah, average weeks, whatnot. Last week was Thanksgiving, so
I missed Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving being on Thursday, so there was no X-Wing night. The week before that, Battlefront 2 came out. I grabbed that.
This is a controversial game, Carl.
Yeah, let's go through the timeline on Battlefront 2. So, okay, right before the beta comes out, people are crazy excited about this game because EA has essentially fixed every complaint people had about the first game. There's a single player mode, and all the DLC is free. So people are excited. People are jazzed. They're really, really hyped for this game. It looks fantastic. Like, I showed you some trailers, and even you were like, wow, that's really pretty. The beta comes out. People start playing. And whereas the gameplay itself is a lot of fun, loot boxes.
Yeah.
People discover that a lot of upgrades can be acquired through loot boxes. So that happens. And then it comes out that you're going to be able to purchase loot box, whereas the DLC is all free and they've got a lot of stuff planned. Loot boxes you can purchase. And loot boxes are randomized items for the game, whether they be credits for the game, modification parts for the game, or upgrades to either ships, characters, what have you, that you can get in the game. And it comes out that you're going to be able to, you can either purchase loot boxes with in-game currency, or you can purchase loot boxes with real money. So people, being people, go ahead and lose their collective heads over loot boxes. And I get it. It wasn't as big an issue for me because I didn't so much, like, I wasn't going to buy loot boxes. I didn't have a problem with it the way other people did because there was nothing in the loot boxes that you couldn't get through gameplay. And people are saying, oh, it's pay to win. I wouldn't necessarily say it's pay to win. I think you're paying for advantage.
I think that sucks.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a good practice. I don't agree with it, but again, I don't have the like violent reaction people have had to this. So that comes out, and it's like people are complaining. I'm like, okay,
governments are looking into this.
Dude. Yeah, they're looking into it now.
That's pretty.
Here's my take on it. Production costs of video game have skyrocketed in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
AAA titles cost millions upon millions of dollars to make. Video game prices have had a $10 increase since the days of Atari.
Yeah.
Traditionally, games were always $49.99.
Yeah.
Then around I believe it was PlayStation 3 generation, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360.
$59.99.
Got the bump to $59.99.
Mind you, in the 16-bit days, the $80 cartridge was kind of a staple.
But not standard.
No, but
you would have one every great once in a while. You'd have like a Phantasy Star for Sega Master System every once in a while. Oh, I pissed my father off with that game.
Final Fantasy 3 was $70 in 1993. $4 or whatever it was.
I don't remember paying that much for it.
Oh, it was, man. And Killer Instinct, $80 game. Mortal Kombat's were pricey games.
Yeah, they were standard.
No.
But largely video games have stayed the same since their inception.
Right.
So, and it's a different world now. You know, these things have to make a profit for them to continue to be made. You know, it's kind of like, think of the movie industry. Movie industry needs to make, you know, Independence Day Resurgence so it can make a whole bunch of smaller, a little more
I don't buy that. No,
integral.
I don't buy that.
Well, that's economics. It's common sense. So I don't mind DLC the way some people do. Like, I get that companies have to monetize games now because, like, DLC has extended the life of games, and for companies not to try and profit off of that, for me, just looking at the business side of it doesn't make sense. I don't like it. I'm not saying I like it, but I see their perspective. So the whole loot box thing happens. And then, closer to release, it comes out that the hero characters in the game are not all unlocked when you purchase the game. They always have been in the previous Battlefield games.
Okay.
You have to unlock them with the credits, the in-game credits you earn through gameplay.
Okay.
Which, okay, fine. You want to do that. Yeah, at the start, the big characters that you'd want to get, like Luke and Darth Vader,
Sure.
are 60,000 credits.
Okay, so
And
break that down for me.
Someone broke it down on average. We're not talking like professional player. We're not talking novice. Average player would take them 40 hours of gameplay to earn enough credits to unlock one of these characters. This was my personal, you know,
A bridge too
see,
far.
You see at the blackjack table, the dealer goes away on the break. They clap their hands. They show them they're walking away.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? That's too much. That I'm not getting this game. Obviously, as you probably heard, the most downvoted Reddit comment in history was EA's response to this.
Yeah, it's Reddit for you, but EA is vile, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, they're like, well, we want to give players a sense of accomplishment. No.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Can I purchase the hero characters with real money? No.
You can purchase loot boxes
Loot boxes I could purchase.
The loot boxes will not give you the hero characters per se.
Yes.
Loot boxes usually come with credits.
So indirectly,
it's a
yes.
minuscule amount that come in the it's like 125, 100, something like that. If you get a duplicate card in the loot boxes, it gives you 200 credits.
So theoretically, though, you could pay to boost yourself to get the hero characters. Hypothetically.
You could pay a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, strike one.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yes.
It's going to cost you more than buying, like...
Okay. But...
potentially a new video game system.
So my options are I sink 40 hours in per character, average.
Right.
Or I just pony up.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see how people got mad about this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even I was like, I'm done. In the same day, EA came out and said, "Yeah, we're knocking that price down." They discounted it by 75%. So the top tier characters were 15,000 credits.
So
I did that my first night of playing.
Okay, that's a little more reasonable.
Yep. So. Then that happened, but the damage had kind of already been done from everything.
So is the game sunk already?
The game... I don't want to say the game is sunk, but the game is not what it would have been.
Had there not been controversy.
Exactly.
That's a shame.
Now, all this controversy aside, let's just talk about the game itself.
Yeah.
The game is crazy fun.
Okay.
It's in very much in the same way as the previous Battlefield game. Is that if you are looking for a AAA hardcore first-person shooter, this is not the game for you.
Okay.
If you're looking for a fun shooter that's also an amazing Star Wars experience, this is your game.
All right.
It's insanely fun to play. There are some drawbacks to it. There are some things I'm not crazy about because the initial progression system is kind of all based around the loot crates. Progression through standard game play is a bit of a slog. Now, also, I will say that EA stopped the loot crate purchase with real money. They took that, like, the day before release, they took that out.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but because the initial system is based around that, upgrades and whatnot, it's kind of a slog. The single player game is cool so far. I'm digging the story. I mean, visually, the game is second to none. It's just unfortunate that, you know, you have game designers and whatnot, and artists who worked on this game and crafted a really good game, and then, like, a company tries to overreach. I was astonished about how EA was able to simultaneously fix all the problems people had with the first game and then create a whole new batch of problems for this second game.
Well, to that I would say, hello, we're EA.
Yeah.
How are you?
So hopefully this is the kick in the junk that they need to kind of readjust how they do things. But there is some fallout from this. Disney, the mouse is not happy.
Okay.
Mickey's pissed.
Okay.
Mickey's pissed.
So what's he going to do about it?
There's talk that they may lose the license.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
There are numerous. Now, I mean, this will cause
I know there's angry
fans
fans and change.org crap going on.
Yeah, there's numerous petitions and whatnot, but no, reports from legitimate sources say that Disney is not happy. So
that's fine. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I just, you know,
Battlefront 3, if it happens, will be
I guess,
interesting to
you know
see.
what? That's the ultimate concern, really. Like, what Disney has to take into account. I roll my eyes because gamers are the most thin-skinned, whining batch of complainers in any medium in the world. Video gamers drive me nuts as they cry about everything. Sorry, I
get it. I get it.
They do though.
Yeah, everybody wants it to be the way it was back in like 1996, and
even kids who weren't alive back then.
Yeah,
don't even.
I'm sorry, business changes.
I'm not even talking about that. Like, just any perceived like inaccuracy or any it's hard. I don't know. Think about you know what I saw when I was away? The fan reaction to Venom's voice in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I saw that. I was like,
just
what?
Stop.
Yeah, it's a fighting game, folks.
This is what I'm talking about.
It's not like that's his voice for the Venom movie.
Gamers are just this community of like whining children.
Not all of them, but unfortunately, the whiners tend to scream louder than the vocal minority.
I wonder about that minority, but you know what I'm saying. It's just, they are the loudest, most obnoxious bunch of fans. Well, hang on. Actually,
because
hang on. There is a second group that I can't stand, and we're going to talk about them in a little while.
That's all he can stand. He can't stand no more.
But anyway, I'm sorry, man. But like, if what Disney has to take into account because of these whining people, and these, like it or not, in video games, these whining people vote with their wallets. Which, hey, good for you. Actually, to be honest, that's how you get things done.
Yeah,
they have to take into consideration if they stick with EA for Battlefront 3. If EA's name is on it, people might just outright not buy it.
Yeah,
on principle, even if it's great.
I mean, call them whiners, and to a point, that's fair.
Yeah.
But there are those who maturely vocalize discontent.
Yes. No.
Those combined with the whiners got EA to make major changes.
It sounds like they made some major concessions.
Multiple major changes to a game before they released it. And we're not talking about this indie company that's making a game here. We're talking about EA.
Yeah, the biggest company there is.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you said, they slashed prices and they got rid of the loot box thing and all that, and those are big concessions that they had to make. But is that enough? And I from what you're saying, no, and because ultimately we live in the era now where any perceived slight must be met with the guillotine. So
I'm hoping that because the past two Battlefront games, for me personally, have been really enjoyable.
Yeah, you dig them.
I personally hope that EA gets to keep the license.
Okay.
But something tells me if EA gets to keep the license and there is a Battlefront 3, Disney's foot's going to be on EA's throat throughout the whole production of that thing. Because if there's one thing Disney hates above anything else, it's bad public perception.
I understand where they're coming from.
They'll lose, millions of dollars. They're okay with that. The second they lose a fan, the second, someone's looking at them kind of stink-eyed,
yeah,
that's when they have a problem.
Their brand perception is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the mouse wants you to love them.
Yep.
Love the mouse.
Mouse wants love. All right, so that was Battlefront.
Okay.
A lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Thanksgiving was good. It was good.
Great.
We always go over to Julie's mother's house, and her sister and brother come over with their families and whatnot. It's a good time. And then it was 2 days after Thanksgiving. Was it Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Saturday. Saturday. My wife and I welcomed a new addition to the family.
Yes, you did.
No, we did not have another child. God, no, not doing that again. Got a fantastic kid the first time around. No reason to roll those dice again. We adopted a wonderful dog by the name of Diego from you, sir.
Yes, you did. I'm so happy you did.
As soon as you got Diego in, you messaged me and be like, yeah, I think this one's... Because I at least was looking for a second dog.
Yes, you were.
Because I've always traditionally been a 2-dog family.
And you wanted a male dog, and I know that.
I wanted a male dog just because, Rocky's not fixed because he wasn't our dog originally.
Right.
And getting him fixed would have cost $800. So we've had, there was a moment where I was close to convincing my wife to adopt Zeus when you first had him, but, she was still a little raw after losing Foster. So
wait, Zeus?
Yeah. When you first got Zeus, I almost had Julie convinced to adopt him. But she's still just like not.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I didn't I didn't mention anything to you.
I don't recall ever putting Zeus up for adoption.
I thought he was up for adoption.
No, Zeus is.
No, I'm so. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Lucas.
Oh,
Lucas. Yeah, I didn't even know you when you first got Zeus.
I was gonna say, I'm doing the timeline in my head. I'm like, Zeus.
Yeah. No, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But
Lucas.
yeah, Lucas. I almost had
the illustrious Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas, podcast mascot
in here right now with his dinosaur.
Yes. How's your dinosaur, Lucas?
Oh, it's good.
I almost had her convinced, but she,
that's okay. It worked out well for me because we love Lucas to death.
Lucas is show mascot. So, but yeah, there was it wasn't the last game. I think it was the last recording we did.
Yep.
Where I first met Diego. And then we arranged a visit, and the visit went fantastically. And, she agreed, and now he's Diego Duty. So
how's he doing?
He's doing great.
That's great.
Him and William are fast friends.
That's awesome.
He is cuddling like crazy with Julie.
Uh-huh.
Which
I warned you.
Right on. Yeah, both him and Rocky are in the bed at night.
Has the exchange of the humps,
the humping,
slowed down?
The humping stopped at the end of the first day. Good.
Good. Yeah. All right.
I was expecting.
It was quite the scene over there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was expecting 2 days at least, because that's kind of how it was when Foster came to live with Rocky and myself. But no, Rocky established. I don't think he established dominance. But
yeah, Diego didn't really care.
Yeah, I think he got his point across. So yeah, that's going good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're little accents here and there, but that's all part of the integration process.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
He's a great dog.
All right.
Just the way my nickname for him is the Snow Speeder, because he tangles up the walkers.
Oh,
He kind of like,
because you got him on the tether.
no, not the tether. Just
Oh.
like when you're walking around the house and whatnot, he'll have a way of like cutting right in front of you and like getting in between your
I
legs.
should have warned you about that. Yeah, he does that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. I think that, there wasn't.
And then we saw Justice League on Sunday.
Then we saw Justice League on Sunday. We'll get to that. So yeah, that was my week's. Hour later, dear listener,
Hasn't been that long, has it?
I don't know how long are we going on now.
It's an hour.
Are you serious?
Just check.
Oh
my
geez.
God.
Guys, it'll be a 3-hour show. All right, because we still got listener questions too.
Bring it on, man.
Dear listener, if
Put a
you
disclaimer on this kid up front. If you want the Justice League review, you got to go to like the 2-hour mark.
if you would like to tell us about your weeks, tell us we talk too much, send us some comments, anything, you can find us at the following locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all this information available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. One thing I do want to say, I really want to try and do some more live streams.
Okay.
I thought that was really kind of cool. I think if we kind of promote it a little bit, we might get some turnout for that, maybe on game nights or something. I
Sure.
don't know.
Yeah, just put the word out and say we're going to do it at this time, and people can be looking for it.
All right.
I'm up for that.
So, okay, we're time to go to cross-examination. We've got a couple questions here. First one we have to go to, because this question came in like right after we recorded our last episode.
Oh, this person's been waiting then.
It's been sitting in the hopper for a while.
All right.
This is from Mr. Brian Budnick. Hey, Carl and Drew. I just wanted to start off by giving you some much-deserved praise.
Oh.
I have been listening to the podcast since the beginning, and I'm happy to say it's the one podcast in my queue that I can share with my whole family. I have always enjoyed it, but I have to say you guys really knocked it out of the park with your talking horror segment.
Oh.
Not being a fan of horror movies, I plan on skipping this segment after getting past the normal routine at the top of the show, but to my surprise, I was sucked right in, and have to say, I think it was one of your best shows yet. Keep up the good work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That was a fun show.
That was a fun show. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on that show.
I'm going to full disclosure. I'm not super into the horror genre, but I had a lot of fun talking about it with our guests.
Yeah,
Like, it was a really great experience.
I enjoy engaging conversation, and like if you can speak passionately about something, you're probably gonna hook me in.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if it's not something I'm normally involved in. That's how I got into X-Wing. Like just started, watching some videos here and there and people speaking passionately about it. I'm like, okay, I'll try this out.
Sure.
It's okay. Now for a quick question. Know you have Thanksgiving coming up, rapidly approaching. So my question for both of you is that if you can invite some superheroes to dinner, who would you invite and why? And also, if time as a follow-up, what dish would you expect your guest to bring? Who would you like to have over for a Thanksgiving dinner?
Who would I like to have over for Thanksgiving dinner, superhero related? This is gonna be a great big surprise to no one. I want Cap over for Thanksgiving. I think he would he'd be a fine guest on such a solemn and thankful holiday.
Yeah.
He's gonna bring the noble spirit to the day. What dish would he bring?
Apple pie.
Yep.
Is there really any other dish?
Yep.
That's just kind of...
And it's probably really good, too. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But that's Cap's secret. He bakes.
I
Good call.
I would probably want to have someone over who normally doesn't get to have Thanksgiving.
Batman.
For one reason or another. Yeah. Batman, Spider-Man, Matt Murdock, Peter Parker,
I feel like Peter Parker has a Thanksgiving. Him and Aunt May get together probably and have dinner and whatnot. Batman has nobody.
Yeah. He's got a fireplace Alfred and,
He just sits alone. Yeah, he bring him over. What would he bring?
If it's Batman, I'm expecting nothing but the finest bottle of wine.
Okay, yeah. Good.
You know what, Pete? You just come. It's okay. You don't have to worry about bringing anything. It's always broke, especially now in the comics. I don't know what I would have Matt bring.
Alcohol.
You know
No,
what? I think
no.
he's good there.
Yeah. What would Matt bring? Tough call.
Yeah.
I got nothing here.
Grab a can of cranberry, Matt. You're
That's
good.
about right. He'd bring the
You're
cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
It's red.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure. Then Brian closes with thanks for making my commutes much more enjoyable and keep up the great work. Brian Budnick.
Doing what we can.
Thank you very much for your questions, Brian. Appreciate that you appreciate that it's a family show. We've got a lot of listeners.
Good.
Keeping on
Good.
because of that. So very happy about
Happy
that.
to be there for
Yeah.
you. I bite through my tongue every episode.
I know. Probably never more so before this episode that we're about to do.
Oh, no. I think you're going to be surprised that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we get to the What can we call him?
The Wonder Twins?
Call him? No.
Wily Kit and Wily Cat?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
The Orko and Snarf?
Wow. That's mean. That's really mean.
So, yeah, we're going to go with that then?
Yep. The Orko and Snarf of the Devil's Due. And
Excellent.
I'll let them decide which one is which.
Fine by me.
Starting with Mr. J. Gelsomino. Carl and Drew, if you could see one writer-artist combo take over a current character, who would it be and why is it Brubaker Phillips?
I was just going to say, I want Brubaker Phillips back on Cap, but if they can't be put on Cap, Brubaker and Phillips, let's see, where would I like to see them? They've kind of already done Batman with Gotham Central, so maybe that's not the best idea. Brubaker Phillips Punisher book. Go.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you find that, because it's rare when it does happen, but when it does happen, do you ever find that whenever a writer-artist team that have like a renowned run on a character return to that character, that they're able to recapture the magic?
It's rare that it happens.
Yeah, usually it's just like a one-shot or something like that.
I'm trying to think of an example in recent times of stuff that I keep up with, and I really can't, unfortunately. Closest example I could think of: Garth Ennis and Parlov, Goran Parlov. They're back on Punisher right now, doing the Platoon series. It's a Max book.
Yeah,
and it's like they never left.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale.
Yeah.
Re-team pretty well on Batman.
Yeah, I find their Marvel stuff to be a little more hit and miss. I like Daredevil Yellow quite a bit, but I wasn't so into the Cap White book.
The Cap White wasn't great.
Was
Spider-Man
not great.
Blue was good.
Okay.
The Hulk Gray was good. So it's the initial kind of like team up, and like with Cap White, when you go back to a story after so many years of being away from it, it's
never gonna live up.
Yeah.
Hard to explain. Yeah, I don't know that any. I'm trying to think of examples of guys coming back to books that they made their name on. It doesn't seem to happen a lot anymore. Companies seem to kind of just want to keep cycling new talent in. Lucas knows what I'm talking about. So I'm Ennis and Parlov are the closest thing going on right now at Marvel, and it's great. It's like it's really good, and I'm glad they're back. So
I would like Frank Miller and Sean Murphy on Daredevil. Have a return. Frank Miller returned Daredevil, or I know he's doing a limited series right now, but I would really like to see Sean Murphy and Tom King on Batman.
Okay, that's a
'Cause
solid.
Tom
team.
King's writing Batman right now.
Yeah.
And the art's good, but I love Sean Murphy's art.
Sean Murphy's tremendous. He's a tremendous artist.
Like I'm gonna get his Batman series when it comes out in trade. I haven't heard anything about it yet, but I mean, for me, it's worth it just for his art.
It's like the Batman is the bad guy in that story, is he?
Yeah,
not?
I guess it's kind of an Elseworldsy story. So
All right.
yeah, see what happens. Okay, Drew,
Yeah.
I have to read this in the voice of what's his name from Thor, the Rock guy,
Korg.
Korg. So
I love him.
I'm reading this question in Korg's voice. Drew, did you eat an elephant? It's my best Korg.
Hey, buddy. Did you eat it?
This is Meek. He's an insect. He's got blades for hands.
Oh, I love it. No, I did not eat an elephant.
Okay.
I did pet one.
That one. Okay, good.
I pet several.
Guessing elephant is probably very gamey.
I don't want to find out. I do not want to find out.
Carl, can we get more Mustache Makes the Man Facebook video shows?
Amen.
Yes, we're going to look into doing some more live streams.
I gotta say, it's filling in.
You like the mustache? I
Spectacularly.
finally got some mustache wax in the mail today, which reminds me, I'm going to ask you now because I will forget before I leave. Do you have a guitar pick I can have?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because it helps to get the wax out.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No problem.
So yeah, cool.
Several.
Thanks.
I have several designs.
Awesome.
Not that it matters.
Jay, thank you very much for questions. Next up, Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew, do you think Marvel has hit a plateau in regards to their series like Punisher and Inhumans? And would you like to see Moon Knight get a Netflix series? So that's a question from both of us.
A plateau. I'm 3 episodes into The Punisher, and I have some grave concerns about this show. I'm just going to put that on Front Street, folks. We are not off to a good start. So I'm giving it a chance, and I'm
But we
told
are going to do The Punisher.
we are doing The Punisher.
Yeah.
We will get there. But unlike The Defenders, I'm not going to be watching it week to week. I'm watching it now.
Yeah.
So when we get to it on the show, I'm going to be seeing these episodes for a second time. So it's going to be a little more. I'm going to be a little more versed in it. I wouldn't say we've hit a plateau yet because we still have Daredevil season 3 coming out, Jessica Jones season 2, Luke Cage season 2, and I want to see what this stuff's going to look like. And I have faith that they're going to be good. They've laid the groundwork already. And Humans, look.
Yeah, as much as we have concerns about the Punisher, you can't put Inhumans and the Punisher in the same ballpark.
To me, Inhumans was foolish from the get-go because it was a mandate from on high, and that's all it was. It was a mandate from on high to get an X-Men substitute out there. We all know this already. This is Marvel's silly beef with Fox, and they tried and they failed. And I just put it aside. They didn't know what to do with it, so they did something, and it didn't work. And that's
I haven't
fine.
heard anything even remotely close to alluding to Inhumans being renewed for a second season.
No, they're gonna bury that.
I think it's
one.
one and done. I think that'll kind of put the Inhumans back in their proper place in the Marvel universe, which is like B characters.
C.
Inhumans would work. I've said before, Inhumans would work great as like the backup story to a Guardians movie.
Or like the guest stars in the occasional Fantastic Four arc.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They don't need to be made the thing that they are.
Right. No, I don't want to say that they've hit a plateau, especially since, again, like I said, we're getting all these other Netflix series coming out. And I would love a Moon Knight Netflix series. We'll see how that goes.
I would love Moon Knight Netflix series too. I think the series that I would want would be vastly different from the series that you would want. Because I loved not the current Moon Knight series.
You want
but
that
the
Warren
one
Ellis run
for this?
Yeah,
I loved that. That's the one I would want.
Just give me a Moon Knight series where they embrace his nuttiness and I could work with that.
They really dived into the nuttiness in the Warren Ellis series.
Yeah, but
they gave like more structure to it.
Okay, me and Ellis are not buddies. I've tried. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Drew,
Yeah.
what was the most important lesson you learned from your trip to Thailand, and what wrestler would you like to see in ESPN 30 for 30 and why?
Ooh.
Did you see the Ric Flair 30 for 30?
I saw, you know what? We started it last night at Bro Day, and the jet lag kind of caught up to me, and I zonked out for about a good half an hour. But for the first 20 minutes or so of it, looked pretty very well done. I'm going to try and watch that on my own time this week. Lesson that I learned from Thailand. Again, I think I kind of said it earlier. I think perspective and just perspective on the world, and the fact that we all need to kind of get out of our own tunnel vision once in a while.
Lucas would agree.
Yes. And he's being out of punk right now, actually.
He's
a little feisty today.
He's a little bit malcontent.
And what was it? I'm sorry, the follow-up question was what?
30
for 30.
Yeah,
wrestler.
what wrestler would you like to see?
Oh, man. That is a tough one because there's many that I think would be good and deserving. I mean, like, who do I say? Bret Hart could work here. I mean,
yeah.
But
a couple weeks ago was the 20th anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob.
Yes, that's correct. But I mean, Wrestling with Shadow has really covered all that stuff. So, like, do we need a 30 for 30 about it? Then again, his career after that was just never the same. There's a good story to be told there about the years of animosity with him in WWE, and of his eventual reconciliation.
He just never seemed to work in WCW.
No, and Vince warned him about that before he left too. But the money was the money, and I can't blame him, really. Yeah. And things in WWF were going a little south at the time. It was hard. There's a lot there. Let's put it that way. Bret would be good. I feel like Austin would just be really good too.
I think that's the one I would want because, like, there are certain. Granted, I'm not as versed in knowledge as you are, but even I could see there are certain wrestlers that the whole world of wrestling just kind of turns.
Oh yeah,
they're like a turning point for it. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin.
Steve Austin, man. And he was never supposed to be what he was.
Yeah.
When he came into WWF, man, that was not the plan.
Yeah, he was like the $1 Million Man's thug.
That's all they saw him as. Was just
the
like
$1 Million champion.
He was a guy who could work a little, and that was all he was. But through sheer force of will, he managed to get himself over. And, he made himself get noticed, and he made sure Vince noticed. And the rest is history, And the guy was a game changer. He is still the top drawing and top money maker in the history of the business to this day. There's a story there, man. And then his career was cut short. And he managed to do okay for himself when he got out. He's doing great right now. He hosts he's hosted several TV shows. His podcast is fantastic. I can't recommend it enough. It's fun to listen to, and he's a great. I just love Steve Austin. He's a fun guy. I think that would be a really good story. I think that'd be really great. From his humble beginnings to where he ended up.
Yeah,
there's a story there.
Okay, Carl, do you think Marvel waited too long on making a solo female superhero movie after they saw the success of Wonder Woman? What heroine would you like to see have a solo movie besides Captain Marvel? I don't think they waited too long after seeing the success of Wonder Woman. I think they waited too long before Wonder Woman. I think a Black Widow movie or any number of other Marvel female characters were long overdue when Wonder Woman hit. We know Marvel can do superheroes right, and they've shown they can do multiple kind of genres right. Supernatural, science fiction, straight up action. I think we're long overdue for a Black Widow film. As far as heroine, I would like to see get a film besides Captain Marvel. Spider-Woman?
Really?
But it'd be very hard to do because she's not a general knowledge character. So,
and she's complicated.
She's very complicated. So it'd be very hard to do. She-Hulk.
Yeah.
I think you could really pull off well.
Especially with the tone Marvel seems to be embracing these days, or kind of a more goofy tone.
Yeah. So She-Hulk. You know what? This is gonna sound kind of stupid at first.
Go on.
I think like an X-Woman movie could be done well.
Okay.
Just like focus on the female characters of the team.
Okay.
They did this in the books a couple years back. It got some heat coming out of the gate, but it fizzled after a while.
When they did the X-Men book that was all women?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. I can get down with that.
I'd like to see that.
I think a Storm movie could be cool.
Storm movie would be great.
Remember the 80s? Remember back when Storm was like one of Marvel's heavy hitters?
Yeah.
And then like for whatever reason, it just kind of fizzled.
It's just because she's mutant. And she's part of that,
Is that what it was? Is that what happened?
You gotta remember, man, like that Marvel Fox deal goes back.
No,
way back.
I don't want to place the blame squarely on Halle Berry, but it factored in.
I think that's the case of good casting, but bad execution. Like the script, when you go back and watch the first X-Men movie, the script is not helping her.
No, but look, I'm just going to say it. We all wanted it.
You got an Academy Award winning actress playing.
Well, she didn't. When they cast her, she was not an Academy Award winner. That was after X-Men 1, but before X-Men 2.
Yeah.
We all wanted Angela Bassett. Let's not deny it.
Duh.
But
Halle Berry was not a bad cast.
No. You're right, though. The script did no favors for her.
Yeah.
But the performance did no favors either. Anyway.
Bryan Singer's not an action director, so.
No. No, he's not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, all right. Alan, thank you very much for your questions. That brings to close our cross-examination, which brings us to the case files. Drew, we're not even at our review yet.
I know. Like I said, disclaimer in the description of this episode.
This is going to be... Do you want to start most recent or like... We only got like 3 big things to talk about.
Let's just tick them off.
All right. Remember when we started this podcast? We were recording on Friday nights.
Yes.
And that was going, for a while. We'd show up, record Friday night, game night afterwards, yada, yada. I said, you know what, Drew?
We got to be more current.
We got to be as current as possible.
Yeah.
Let's move this thing to Tuesday night.
Yeah. How's this working out for us?
It's working out like 98% really well. You know what that last 2% is?
Today?
Marvel. Because Marvel always releases their stuff like the day after we record.
They're onto us.
Folks, get ready tomorrow because the internet is going to break.
And by tomorrow, we mean today for you listeners.
Yes. There's a very good chance that by the time you're listening to this, you've already seen the first trailer for Avengers Infinity War.
Get hype.
It's
Get hype.
It's going to be pretty crazy.
Look, we don't know what it's going to be yet. I don't want to get myself too hyped up, but this is coming in combination with some quotes by the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige that are basically saying, for lack of a better way to put it, this is the beginning of the end.
Yeah. This is what the past almost 10 years have been leading to.
Yes.
Is this film.
Yes.
Right here. Everyone together. It's just going to be...
This is it. This is the big mishmash.
It'd be crazy.
And like I said, not this one, but the next Avengers film, by admission of Kevin Feige, all of the original Avengers cast are not contracted past the 4th Avengers movie. It is the end of the line for them. And that the movies after that will be very different than everything that has come before. So this is the beginning of the end. cue the Nine Inch Nails song.
I was going to cue the Sad Hulk music.
Oh, well, there's that too.
I wonder if Nine Inch Nails would do a cover of the Sad
That's
Hulk
a good
music.
idea, actually. Oh my god!
Drew's thinking.
Someone get on Twitter and hit Trent like immediately. He did the Halloween song.
Yeah.
It was pretty dope. The Sad Hulk music by Trent Reznor. Oh my god! I need this now. Yeah. So get ready, folks. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, but it's also. I mean, this is getting heavy now.
This is one of two films I believe will be able to break $1 billion domestically. The other one being Last Jedi. So
yeah, kinda,
yeah.
All right.
Force Awakens came close. It was like I think it was 25 million away.
The Last Jedi hype is strong. So put it this way: the guy who directed it, they're giving him the keys to a whole new trilogy.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing we could talk about.
Disney has some faith in this.
We'll
guy.
go right into that. It was announced.
We didn't cover this.
No, we didn't.
Oh.
It was while you were away.
I have thoughts.
Yes. They announced that Rian Johnson will be helming a new Star Wars trilogy. I don't think it's been 100% confirmed, but it's been assumed that this will not be a new saga trilogy. This will be an original story unto itself, not dealing necessarily with the Skywalker family.
Right.
And then it was also announced that there will be a live action Star Wars television show on the Disney streaming service.
Okay. How do you want to
Let's
handle these?
Start with the appetizer and then go on to the entree.
That being?
So the Star Wars television show. This is something that's been rumored for
Lucas couldn't pull
coming
it
up
off.
on a decade now.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what the thing is? I don't think Lucas could pull it off because I don't think any network would give him the control that he wanted.
There's that to be considered.
Because roundabout when the rumors of a new Star Wars television show were starting, that's when we're getting into the beginnings of premium television as we know it now.
Sure.
Things like Breaking Bad, things like that. It's when the television landscape started to change, and I don't think Lucas could get the control from a television network that he could from a film distributor.
Well, let's also address the other elephant in the room regarding a Star Wars TV show. Cost.
Yes. Well, it's Disney now.
Even Disney has a bottom line.
Yeah.
And I look, the fact that they want, if they make that the flagship of their streaming service, it makes all the sense in the world. But even still, it's going to cost a lot to make.
A Star Wars television series, depending on how they do it, they could take a different approach to where it's not going to cost as much and still make it good.
Okay.
But when you think about something like Game of Thrones, which has an insanely huge budget per episode, some of their bigger episodes, I think their budget has been the entire season budget of some of their other shows.
That's true.
And I'm willing to bet that Disney has deeper pockets than HBO. So
probably.
I don't think I think the cost will be a factor, but I don't think it will be as big a factor. I'm hoping that they don't do something that necessarily has to have that higher cost. We think of if you
you don't want them cutting corners either.
Yeah, I don't want them cutting corners. I'm sure you never watched the Clone Wars television series. I watched it, the animated series.
No.
It was really good. For them to do that in live action, that cost would be astronomically crazy. Something like Rebels, though, I haven't been able to watch all of it. I was just able to watch the first season until we cut the cord on cable. Something along that lines. At the same time, what's it called? Not do an anthology show. Do
I feel like that would be more expensive than just doing a season. Actually,
kind of like Fargo.
Yeah,
approach it almost kind of like what Netflix approaches their shows. One season is just kind of one big movie. Do it that way.
That's the way to go.
Each season's a different story.
Yeah, we'll see.
It'll be interesting to see what they want to do with it. I'm interested in. It's funny because one of the other big things that was announced that when you were were gone was that Amazon is going to be doing a Lord of the Rings television series.
Oh yeah.
And originally
yeah.
it was thought that this would be just another interpretation of the main story itself.
No,
but now they're saying it's either going to be like, it's going to be the Silmarillion. It's possible it's going to be like just like prequel stuff or different art stuff. And that world is very rich with stories that haven't been told in that format. But I found that my reaction to it is kind of like we were having a discussion, I think it was last month or the month before, about like your reaction to Marvel as opposed to your reaction to Star Wars. Whereas like Marvel, you love the world. With Star Wars, you primarily just kind of love the original 3 movies. Whereas like with Star Wars, I love the world.
Okay.
I want to hear stories outside of what the main saga stories are. I love, like, Lord of the Rings is in my top 5 films of all time. I heard this announcement. I was like, I'm good. I like the main story.
Yeah.
I love it. I've read the book twice and I've seen the movies numerous times.
So,
I don't need the surrounding stuff.
Well,
but with Star Wars, I want the surrounding stuff.
Okay. Without dwelling too much on the Lord of the Rings, I did read that about that show, and I guess the creative control of that franchise was closely guarded by Tolkien's
the
family,
the estate.
not
Yes.
anymore. Nope.
Yeah,
I guess
ever
he's
since
handed
they
it off. So I guess
dump trucks full of money.
Yeah. So I guess you might be getting interpretations of this stuff now.
And see, I don't need that.
Okay,
I'm
fair enough.
happy with the way you view Star Wars is the way I view Lord of the Rings.
Okay. All right. Well,
So, yeah,
I'll put it this way: I'll believe the Star Wars show when I see it, just because it's been percolating for so long.
So long, I can understand.
I know they want it to be a thing. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Like if they said it was a new animated show, I'd be like, okay, cool,
yeah. They have track record there.
Yeah.
But live action, okay. We'll see about that.
Yep. So new trilogy.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to depend on a lot of what our reaction to Last Jedi is, because clearly Disney really likes Rian Johnson.
It seems that way. Which actually makes me wonder something.
He's one of the few to start and finish a Star Wars movie.
So if they like him so much, how come they didn't let him do 9?
I don't
schedule conflict, maybe? Or did he not want to do it?
I don't think he was keen on doing it.
But he'll do 3 more of his own?
You can do cover songs or you can start your own band.
But he's still covered. He's still...
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Curious thing. Okay.
It might have been a scheduling conflict. I don't know.
Let's all right. So I know I've said before that I'm getting a little Star Wars fatigue. This isn't going to alleviate that at all. But this is actually kind of curious. What's it going to be? Because by all accounts, like you said, it's not a new saga trilogy. It's something else entirely. Yeah. Okay. What?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the angle? And I guess it has I'm interested enough where if it's going to be something new, I'm interested.
Yeah.
And it seems like it is. So you have my attention.
I think one of two things. One, you're going to be just doing a new story that takes place after the events of episode 9. Different
Possibly.
Characters, not focusing on the Skywalkers, things like that. Or what some people are asking for, other people are like theorizing. I know the word prequel is a bad word, but I think if you go back far enough, you stop being a prequel and just start being another story. A lot of people are thinking the Old Republic, like way like hundreds of years before episode 1.
I don't want that at all.
I don't
want that.
I wouldn't mind it. Again, if you can make it look interesting and tell me a good story and not feel the need to connect it to anything.
But it kind of has to by some stretch.
If you want to tell about like the beginning of the Jedi Order or the beginning of the Sith, or like, there's, I guess there was once like a really big war between the two before the Sith adopted the rule of 2.
Yeah, I don't want to be reminded of the rule of 2, much less a movie about it.
Well, the rule of 2 was canon before the prequels.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
The more I think, it's actually funny. I was thinking about the shower thoughts the other day, and
shower thoughts with Drew.
I just thought that's really stupid. How dumb was that? How threatening can you be with two people?
When you think about
Stupid.
how the Sith operate, or its craving of power, something like that doesn't work on a large scale. If everybody's craving power, you're not achieving power. You're just constantly fighting amongst
I don't want to
yourselves.
dwell on this. I'm just going to put this out there.
You don't like the world. You just like the 3 movies.
No,
it's
no,
okay.
No. Not. Star Wars was a lot cooler before everything in it got so codified.
I don't think it's codified.
Oh,
I
it's
just
all
think you're gonna have to.
No. It's all codified now.
It's
everything
not codified.
Really.
Yeah, really.
So the prequel is making every single thing have an explanation that ties into the new ones. That's not codified. Everything is codified now. Everything fits together. Everything has this explanation. When it was just the original movies, the world, the way you love it, I loved it because it was way more open to my imagination. Now I can't imagine anything anymore because they filled all the holes in with garbage. I don't like that. So anyway, that is why I don't want the Old Republic movie, because if you're going to go back, you somehow have to land on the crappy backstory that you dumped on us with the prequels. So you have to adhere to that to some degree. I don't want that at all.
The Old Republic is hundreds of years before the prequel.
But
even
it's
going
still
back further than
But
that.
it somehow has to establish into the Jedi Order what it became, which, by the way, is not at all what I imagined it to be when I watched Star Wars as a kid. And nah, I don't want it. No. Put it in the future, or put it in we're in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Let's go far, far, farther away. Put it over there. Give me something new entirely in Star Warsy. Just keep it away from everything else. Then I'm interested.
Yeah, that's
Star Wars is too embedded in itself. It's harder for me to care about it. It's all too intertwined.
okay.
I like a little leeway. I like a little imagination. I like a little mystery. That's all gone now.
Mystery's all well and good, but at the same time, I want to be able to learn about where something came from. I want to hear the backstory of it. Like, I don't want to, like, I'm cool with, like, the Sith being this mysterious thing that no one really knows about for a time. After that time, like, at some point, you know what? At some point, parts unknown doesn't make sense anymore. You want some explanation to it. You want some history of it. I think giving it history, flushing it out isn't a bad thing. Giving it history is making it more sustainable and making it more real.
It also takes away a lot of the mystique.
Mystique can be a tool for sloppy storytelling at the same time. If you had, now granted, prequels did terrible at this, adhering to their continuity and whatnot.
I thought I wanted all that backstory until I saw the prequels, and I said, you know what? I don't want any of that backstory.
So you keep falling back on the prequels. We're not there anymore. The prequels are a distant memory compared to what we're getting right now.
What we're getting right now is going forward. I would advocate to keep going forward. Let's not look back.
I would say even the Clone Wars series and Rebels, like the last half of the season.
I don't care.
I know you're not going to watch it. I'm just saying it to say it. Clone Wars did a lot of retconning of the prequels. They fixed a lot of stuff that went wrong.
Doesn't matter. I didn't see it. Doesn't matter.
That's great.
Side stuff doesn't matter. Movies matter.
Yeah, see, side stuff is where a lot of the fun is too.
I don't care.
That's okay.
Put it on the screen. Put it on the screen, or don't waste my time.
Not everything, dude. Freaking Marvel comics are a sidestep to the movies.
Now
you're still reading Marvel comics,
less and less every day.
All right,
we've been over that.
Okay, so Avenger trailer comes out. Marvel has a new editor in chief.
Yeah, this story got weird in a hurry.
Yep.
So, okay, let's. I don't want to dwell too much on this because we do have to get into the guts of the show, as it were. As we're 2 hours in already. No, what are we at? Oh, hour and a half. Okay. So, Bendis left. Did we cover that on the show? I think we did.
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
That was after, yeah.
Wow.
Bendis is over at DC now. Which is like the equivalent of Johnny Damon leaving the Red Sox to go to the Yankees.
Like, yeah. What? This guy's been in charge at Marvel. In charge. He's been their most prolific writer and creator for the better part of 15 years now. And now he's leaving to go to DC. Seemingly out of nowhere. One of two things happened here. One, he's bored. Because in fairness, he has done basically everything there is to do at Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
He's written everybody.
Yep.
He's gotten the keys to every kingdom at one point or another.
Yep.
Maybe he's burned out. Very possible.
Yeah.
I understand creative burnout very well. But let us not discount other possibilities. And I'm going to go down a little rabbit hole here. The publishing division of Marvel, and by the way, saying those words, the publishing division of Marvel, to me, as a fan of Marvel Comics, I hate saying that, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
They have a publishing division now. They're not Marvel Comics anymore. They're Marvel, this giant entity with who happens to have a publishing division. Under a lot of scrutiny over the last few years. A lot of bad press, a lot of bad books, a lot of overreaction to certain things from certain people, and a lot of creatively dubious decisions. Nazi Cap, I'm looking at you.
They really are very reactionary.
Marvel?
The past, decade or so. Never really thought about that till you said it.
Well, they've been under fire a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think Bendis leaving is a result of him looking at all of the bad press and going, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
No. But what I do think it is a possibility is that the higher-ups in Marvel, whoever they may be, and if you want to go up all the way to the top of the totem pole, Ike Perlmutter, whatever his name is.
We'll just say Ike.
Trump's buddy. Maybe he is not happy with all this bad press about all these socially progressive characters that Marvel's putting out and all the uproar, seemingly, about it. And I'm being very cynical here.
Cynical?
So maybe the because it is affecting the bottom line now.
Yeah.
Like it or not. And he looks at it and says, all right, all you liberal hippie writers with your social justice nonsense can get out. Now I'm going pretty heavy with, you want to call it a conspiracy theory, but I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying that didn't happen because I could see that being a thing given Marvel's, the Marvel's had a real tough couple years here. And a lot of it is self-inflicted. Well, self-inflicted. I'm not sure if it's all self-inflicted. But a lot of it is their fans, comic book fans, resisting a lot of their changes, okay? And ultimately, comics just don't matter that much anymore. So, if they're not doing well, Big Marvel... wow, Big Marvel. That just dawned on me. Like Big Tobacco. Big
Pharma.
Big Marvel. Honestly, they probably look at the comics division and just go like, either this thing makes money or we're just going to tear it off like a Band-Aid because we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's extreme, but I mean, is it in the big picture nowadays? So maybe someone told Bendis, hey man, we're reining you in. And creatively, we can't let you guys run roughshod anymore. And he said, see ya, I'm out. I don't know that, but let's just say that his exit has been... It's very curious. And the lack of clarification on why he decided to leave, as you know, it just leaves a lot of questions out there.
Yeah, I'm
a lot of speculation I just threw out there.
I was educated speculation. I'm leaning more towards your first explanation. I think he just got tired.
Okay,
because for a because he's an extremely creative person.
Yeah,
and creativity is it's like a plant. You gotta feed it. You gotta nurture it.
Oh, I know.
If you don't, it just kind of shrivels up and dies.
Sure.
So it's like you said, he's been around the block with everyone on Marvel.
Yeah,
3 times over,
pretty much.
Let's see what Across the Street has to offer.
Well,
and I think but at the same time, everything you just laid out as far as speculation is completely plausible too. See, here's the thing about the time we're living in right now. Nostalgia is a commodity.
Yeah.
And I'm a nostalgic person by nature, and I don't think there's anything wrong with nostalgia. But the problem that I think a lot of people don't understand is that it's nostalgia for a reason, and that it's the past. If everything was as it was in the past, we would never get anything new. Nothing would ever change. We would not be able to tell new stories.
And
we can only tell Peter Parker can't pay his rent, can't sell pictures to the Bugle, and doesn't have anything in the refrigerator. We can only tell that story so many times.
Yeah.
And those stories are a rich part of the character's history that are integral to the character, but we have to move on from that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after 50, 60 years of these characters. It's coming up on, we're with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, we're past 75 years.
Yeah.
And we have to move forward so that these characters can grow and these stories can change, and we can find the new Frank Miller, and we can find the new Brian Michael Bendis. And, nostalgia is great, but if things never change, things would just get stale and wither and die.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe. But Bendis is not alone now, because right after he leaves, Marvel sacks Axel Alonso.
Yes.
They mutually agreed to part with me, but that means they fired him.
Yeah.
Okay? The editor-in-chief, the guy on top of the publishing division, dude. He's in charge.
I think it's been a long time since editor-in-chiefs make the big decisions. I think it's all dictated by board of trustees, things like that, things that are making money. I think from the I
don't think so, man.
I think they're given a mandate. You have to do X, Y, Z. You can do your own thing within that mandate, but I think ultimately
I don't know, man. I think in the publishing division, the editor-in-chief is the editor-in-chief. Quesada's above him as the chief creative officer, but I just read an interview with Quesada about all this, and it sounds like he's pretty hands off in the comic side of things. So
I think they kind of just created that role to keep him in Marvel.
Quesada?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does a lot of stuff.
No, he does a lot of stuff, but not so much with the comics anymore.
Not at all. Because now he's kind of he's dipping his toes back in right now, and he said it feels really good to be doing it again because he hasn't done it in a long time since he was the editor-in-chief.
Yeah.
My point being, though, the editor-in-chief does make the big calls, and it's a big job. And Axel Alonso he's been there for 5-10 years as the editor-in-chief.
It's been a while.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
So that brings us to CB Cebulski. Is that his name? I think
that's dude's name, yeah.
And I've heard the name before, and he's a respected guy. He's in the job for a week, and he's already hit with controversy.
Yeah, this was kind of weird.
It's a little weird, because apparently 10 years ago, 15 years ago-ish, he was publishing under a pen name, let's call it.
Which is not uncommon.
No, but it's a Japanese pen name.
That's a bit sketchy.
Akira Yoshida, I think. And it was believed, and he was asked many years ago and denied, or implicated otherwise, that Akira Yoshida was a real person from Japan that was writing these Western books. Now, granted, manga-influenced, let's air quote that.
Yeah.
Books for Marvel and Dark Horse, other publishers too. Turns out it's just CB Cebulski under a pen name appropriating Japanese heritage and writing as if it were real. Now, look. Like you said, people use pen names. So, I'm going to shrug.
Like
No, some might. And I'm not saying what he did is okay. Okay, this is a very strange circumstance.
And Marvel knew about this when they hired him.
When they hired him,
was disclosed.
He disclosed it to them before they made him the editor-in-chief.
Yeah,
but that's recently. They didn't know about it up until recently. And this goes back 15 years.
But I think once you have that knowledge, you still decide to move forward with making him
so they're okay with
blowback on this. That's on you, Marvel.
Sure. And I don't know how much damage has really been done by this, so I don't want to make it bigger than it is, because ultimately I just don't. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, right? But like, you know, if how do I want to go about this? Maybe I don't. No, I'm gonna pocket this. Let's just say I don't know how much harm was really done, and I don't know how much malicious intent he really had. So let's just see how it goes. The guy's respected by his peers, and he has a pretty good reputation. Otherwise, until this came out, he had a pretty good reputation, and I'm not sure how much of a big deal this is exactly. So. Yeah. I'm sensitive to it, but I don't know where to step right now. So we'll see. But again, changing editor-in-chief is quite a big deal. We'll see what that brings. I'm curious to see what that's going to mean for the direction of the publishing arm.
How long was Quesada editor-in-chief before Alonso?
5-ish years, I would say.
All right.
5-10 tops.
Yeah.
Like post Marvel Knights. Up until about 5 years ago, ish.
Okay.
So that's about.
I'm just trying to figure out what the shelf life of an editor in chief is.
Let's ballpark 7 years.
Okay.
Average.
All right. I think it's good to have turnover in that position, because you got to keep fresh perspective, fresh ideas going in.
And let's not pretend that a lot of talent did not leave Marvel in Alonso's tenure. So we'll see. We will see what happens. And I think Marvel is aware, like you have said, that they want to find the next Bendis, the next Brubaker or whoever. And
I think it's going to be one of two things. It's going to take a long time, really long time, for that to happen, or we're going to have another crash. Worse than before. All because Marvel and DC won't do one simple thing. 2 words.
Oh?
Pay creators.
We can't do
actually,
that.
No. I'm sorry. 3 words. Pay creators' rights.
Good luck with that.
The creation needs to expand.
Yeah.
And when you put 4 walls up and say you have to create within these walls, you can't make anything new, you're stifling yourself. And that's what Marvel and DC are doing.
You tell them anything you do create within these 4 walls, we own, not you.
Yeah. So, why am I going to give you my A-grade material when I could just go to Image and keep it for myself?
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, to that I say good luck.
So, that being said, we move on to our final news story of the week. I'm guessing you haven't been to a comic shop since you've been home?
No, I have a lot. I got a stack of books waiting for me, sir.
So, Doomsday Clock came out.
Sure did.
While you were gone.
I'm curious.
And
I brought this up to you. When those initial pages came out, I'm just interested enough.
Explain something to me.
Okay.
Why did the initial... people who got preview copies and whatnot, why did it come in a box with pancake batter and syrup?
The hell are you talking about?
DC sent out a bunch of copies of the first issue in a big Doomsday Clock box, and it came in packed with pancake batter and a little thing of syrup. I'm not making this up.
You're serious right
Yes. Now? I don't get it. I tried to think, was this something in Watchmen that, did I miss something? I know after a second and third reading, I kind of skip over the Black Freighter stuff. Were there pancakes in the Black Freighter or something? I don't understand what any of this means. Maybe it's something that'll be explained. This is a 12-issue series.
You're serious right now.
Look at my face. Look at my mustache. This is serious business.
Pancake batter and syrup. Maybe because in a nuclear holocaust that would keep in a shelter. I'm reaching here.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you pictures afterwards.
All right. I got nothing here, man.
Yeah.
That's news to me.
So Doomsday Clock is out.
Okay.
Is reportedly sold predictably extremely well.
I'm sure it did.
I read it.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
That was my take on the preview pages. I did not want to like this on principle.
It doesn't, like, there's no hint of DC until like the last page or so.
So right now, basically, the first issue is essentially a Watchmen sequel, wholesale.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now,
Interesting.
it takes in the world it takes place in, the year is 1992.
Yep. I think we talked about this before. It's post-Watchmen.
It's post-Watchmen.
The secret is out.
Essentially, yeah. Rorschach's Journal has been published.
Yeah. Don't spoil this for me.
I'm not going to spoil anything for you. It's 1992. There's uproar and everything. Obviously, from everything we've seen, Superman factors into this.
Okay.
Fairly large.
Curious as to how. Okay.
I want you to think about something.
Sure.
What was going on in comics, in real world? What was going on in comics in 1992? Specifically with Superman.
The death of Superman.
Yep. It's called Doomsday Clock.
They're not going to kill Superman again.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Oh.
I'm going like high meta on this.
They're going to bring Doomsday back?
No. This is not even like, when you look back.
Yeah.
At the state comics are in right now, it all started with Death of Superman. Death of Superman was the turning point
when
comics changed from a storytelling medium to a business.
Okay.
Death of Superman was that you can pinpoint. It was that pivot point.
Yeah.
Everything changed when Bob Smith, who's never read a comic in his life, is lining up outside of Golden Apple Comics or Midtown Comics or whatnot to buy 5-10 issues to stash away.
Okay.
So he can invest. And Marvel and DC learned there's money, big money to be made, money more than they ever thought possible to be made. That's when everything changed. Like, the whole genre just changed and turned towards a more dollar-centric and not artistic-centric approach.
So, how does that... What are you getting at with Doomsday Clock, then?
Is this DC trying to... Are they, like, going high meta with the story and acknowledging that they see that this is where everything turned and ultimately it was a mistake? Or, like, I don't think it's a coincidence.
No, I don't either. No,
like, I think there's going to be something to that speaks to the larger story of comics as a whole.
Yeah, the meta narrative of it all.
Not just Watchmen.
Well, let me throw this at you. This is a good discussion here. Watchmen, what was Watchmen?
Watchmen was
originally
a caricature of comic books.
That's one word for it.
It's not the best word for it. It's just the word that immediately popped out.
Okay. It's a deconstruction of comics.
Yes.
It was looking at all of the tropes, cliches, and even the form itself and commenting on it.
Yeah.
And basically casting a judgment on it to some degree.
Yep.
The wrong lessons were taken from it by creators and whatnot, but as on its own, Watchmen was a commentary on the character tropes, the storytelling, and the form of comic books, and even the business to a degree of comic books.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Moore, I trust to write that kind of level of story. I do think that there is a very meta narrative happening with Doomsday Clock, and we're going to see what that ends up being.
Yeah.
And I think, you know what, to be honest with you, maybe it needs to happen.
It really does. Like, there needs to be...
I've been reluctant.
Another 1985.
I've been very reluctant, obviously, to welcome a Watchmen sequel. I would rather it be left alone. However, if there is a big meta story you want to tell about this. If you want to deconstruct comics all over again for a new generation in 2017, then it fits. Let's do Watchmen again, and let's continue the story, but let's also continue its intent to break down what comics are. My only concern with that, from that angle, from that angle, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Honestly, I've gotten there. Like, I'm okay with that idea. Let's see what you got to say. I just don't know if Jeff Johns is the guy I want telling that story. I don't know if I trust him that much.
I really like Jeff Johns.
Okay.
His Green Lantern run was incredible. But at the same time,
you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know what you're talking about.
This is a very lofty goal I'm trying to relay here. Is he the guy to do
names, that? Their name for the type of story that you're describing. The names that write that type of story, the names that get talked about when you talk about like the Mount Rushmore comics.
Yes.
I like Jeff Johns. He is not in that discussion.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
But everybody has the potential to elevate their game.
Absolutely.
So
does he have it?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We've got a year to see.
Yep, we sure do.
It's going to be 12 issues. The art is fantastic.
Gary Frank, man.
Gary Frank just... It's like it's not Dave Gibbons.
No, but it's Gary Frank.
But it's Gary Frank.
Gary Frank is tremendous.
Yeah, it's... I enjoyed the first issue.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much you will enjoy it because you're much more of a purist when it comes to Watchmen.
I am, but I absolutely am.
Yeah.
But I think like I just said, I've come around. The initial pages they released were enough to interest me, despite my reservations. So if there's going to be something to be said here, you have my attention.
Yeah,
I am going to read this. I am open to it.
I think we really need another 1985. And I say 1985 because that's the year that
Dark Knight and
Dark
Watchmen.
Knight Returns and Watchmen came out, and comics were legitimized.
Well,
people started looking at comics legitimately as literature, which they are.
Yeah. Let's
and the death of Superman in the small scale and in the meta scale was
the game changer.
In a lot of ways, the death of not just Superman.
Right.
There's something like...
I know what you're saying.
We can look back all the years later after it's happened. When you make the decision you go through with killing Superman, ultimately they didn't just kill Superman. They killed a lot more. And it's hard to put in the words what they killed. Because it's hard to describe if you... It's kind of like a hippie trying to describe the 60s. It's hard to describe if you weren't there.
I think, in a way, this is cliche as hell. They killed comics' innocence, in a way. It went from being this...
No, I agree with that. I don't think it's cliche. I think it's legitimate.
Yeah, it went from being this, monthly, periodical, story-driven kind of thing into event-driven... And it has been that for a long time.
Yeah.
At least at the big two. Creator-owned stuff is creator-owned stuff. It's a whole different world, and I prefer that stuff, to be honest with you. But that's neither here nor that's neither here nor there.
Once again, when creativity is allowed unrestricted,
right.
thrives.
Well, we've said a lot.
And guess what? We've got more to say.
Oh my God!
Yeah, really. Many thanks to Alan Waiters. Alan always sends us stuff.
Is he chiming in as we're talking?
He's chiming in as we're talking with this little tidbit of information that I'm showing to you.
Oh.
On our last show we recorded before we left for vacation, it was reported that Disney was in talks to buy 20th Century Fox and all the, stuff that would come along with that. Fantastic Four, X-Men, Star Wars. And it was reported that the talks had stopped and that one of or the other was walking away from the table. I think we both said, don't be surprised if these things pick up momentum again really quickly. Well, guess what?
Talks are open again.
Talks are open again. There's not a lot to be said. It's just breaking news right now that,
talks are happening.
Talks are happening.
And if they're happening, that means one or both parties wants it to happen.
Yeah, because I can see after, like, Kevin Feige saying, this is the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as you know it. Next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe may not be driven by Avengers, but Fantastic Four and X-Men.
I got a little chill when you said that. I'm not even kidding. I really did. I got kind of goosebumpy there for a minute. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Marvel drops 2 bombshells on us tomorrow.
Yeah. So, Alan, thank you very much for that. With that, we'll bring the end of the news.
At the 2-hour mark.
This is what happens when you go to Thailand. We don't get to...
Should we, part 2 this or something?
No, let's knock it out. Let's get it done.
All right, man.
Okay, folks. The meat, for those of you tuned in to the live stream last week, I said that this week we're going to review Justice League before starting in on The Punisher next week. So, this past Sunday, Drew and I went to see Justice League in theaters. It was my second viewing. I got a free ticket from a friend of mine the previous Thursday to see it. I was kind of glad I got to go again, only because the free ticket, while very much appreciated, it wasn't 3D. And 3D for me is very much a distraction when it's not in IMAX and filmed specifically in 3D. So yeah, we saw Justice League. We have jokingly referred to the DC Cinematic Universe as the dumpster fire. We've had, let's see,
we've had fun. Oh, the fun we've had.
How many movies have we had? Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League. Well, before Justice League. So we've had four films. One of them have been... I liked Man of Steel. I can't make a ton of arguments for it being a great movie. I think it's good, not great. Yeah. Wonder Woman I really enjoy, but Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman are hot garbage. They're, in my opinion, they're just kind of dumpster fires. And I find myself lately getting really turned off when people are just shouting back and forth at each other, just trying to be right, not trying to get it right, and not being able to view someone else's perspective as, wrong. Maybe it's not the best way of putting it. The nerd on nerd violence is really starting to turn me off to a lot of things.
Yeah.
I get there are people out there who like this movie, and that's fine. We're not trashing you for liking this movie.
No.
Maybe no, we're not. We're not. No. I mean, if we're going to start trashing the people and not the product, then this will be the last episode of Devil's Dues. I'm not going to trash people for liking what they like.
No, you like what you like, but yeah. I want to jump in.
Yeah. So let's review Justice League.
All right. Let me preface.
Where do you want to take this from?
I want to preface everything. We're going to talk. I have a lot of thoughts.
Spoilers, by the way. There will be spoilers.
Yes.
If you
I've got a lot of thoughts on this movie, and I had a lot of thoughts watching the movie. I was really taking it in, and I had a lot of unexpected reactions to it. So here's my upfront take, and then we're going to get into the particulars. Okay,
Cliff's notes and the bullet points, and then we'll dive into it.
I just want to quantify. I want everything I'm going to tell you about this movie and my feelings on it. I want you to understand I'm coming in from this angle. Okay,
so you give your bullet notes, and I'll give my bullet notes, and then we're going.
Justice League is a bad movie. It is not good. Okay, it's a bad movie, and I understand people who like it or think they like it, and I do think there's a degree of that to be had here, that one company, and it doesn't have to be a competition, but let's face it, it is. One company has had critical and box office success to a great degree over a 10-year period. Almost everything they touch turns...
That's putting it lightly.
Lightly.
One company has started a revolution.
Okay, fair enough. and everything they touch seems to turn to gold.
Yep.
On the flip side, this other company that you also like, or maybe you like more, again, different strokes, seems to not be able to capture the same magic. And you, as a fan, want, by extension of your liking of that stuff, you want it to do well.
Yeah.
And there's a little twinge of, maybe it's jealousy, maybe it's, whatever it is, okay? You want a taste of that sweet, sweet validation. You want to validate your passion for what you like.
Yeah.
I get that. But your desire for something to be good can often make you think something is good when it is not. And I understand that.
Yep.
I lived through episode 1 too, okay? And I walked out of that theater saying, it was good. It was good.
Yep.
Okay? And it was only when I could step back a little bit and go, like, you know what? I'm deluding myself. It was not good. It was bad.
It's really bad.
It was really bad.
Really bad.
But I wanted it so bad to be good that I convinced myself it was. And it wasn't. And I think a lot of people feel that way about these DC flicks. They want them so badly to be revered like these Marvel flicks seem to be. And they're not.
How many times have I said on the show, a glass of muddy water to a man in the desert is still a glass of water to a man in the desert?
Now, I just want to say that because I'm not trying to slag people who like this movie. I want the stuff to be great too. And I understand if you do, and if it makes you think you love it, then fine, by all means. All I'm saying is, I think you want it so bad that maybe you got some rose-colored glasses on. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that Justice League is a bad movie, and it is a bad movie, I watched it and I saw, listen to me now, this is me saying this.
Yeah.
I saw glimmers of hope.
Yeah.
And I saw stuff that I liked in it. And I saw an approach in it, in parts anyway, where I said, and I think I said this to you either during the movie or after it was over, if they steer into that and make that the torchbearer tone and focus of their flicks, they've got something. They've got a winner. And it's different than what Marvel's doing. And I mean that. So what is it? Well, this is where we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. So let's leave it there. Your snap judgments on Justice League before we get into those things.
Yeah. My snap judgments is that the movie is a mess.
And I don't disagree.
It's just, from beginning to end, it's a mess. It is clearly two different, distinct visions for this film slapdash together, over compensation in some parts for things that have been done wrong in previous movies, under compensation in other parts. Its visual effects are atrocious.
Oh God, we're going to talk about that.
We had to see how good the PlayStation 3 graphics could be, and this really showed them off. 3.
I'm going to say 2.
No, I mean, let's give credit where credit's due. They ponied up for a PlayStation 3.
They had a cell processor in there.
There are things I liked about this movie. What I said about this movie, from not so much from the beginning, but like especially after Wonder Woman, I said Wonder Woman was a big step forward for DC.
Sure.
Justice League is going to be a regression because it's the last heavy Zack Snyder influence. After Justice League, Zack Snyder is essentially done.
Yeah.
And I don't think Warner Brothers is going to have him back.
No.
So the next movie is going to be very telling because it's going to be the first Snyder-free movie, and how funny that's going to be Aquaman. It's not a good movie, but it's ultimately a mess with some good parts to it. So yeah, that's my gut reaction after 2 viewings. So how do you want to approach this? You want to break it down like character by character and then get into the ultimate story in the larger sense? Want to just take it one league member at a time?
Let's start off with these effects, shall we?
Ooh.
This movie has some of the worst visual effects I've seen in a blockbuster film, maybe ever.
Yeah.
It's 2017, Carl. I shouldn't be sitting there picking out the green screen in every shot.
So much green screen corn.
It was like obvious.
It was painful. It was worse not being in 3D.
Man, like I could just look at it and go like, they're not standing in a real place at all.
No, like I thought
it was like episode 2 level of fake backgrounds. Okay?
I thought they were bad when I first saw it.
Yeah.
But again, I saw it in 3D, and 3D
stand out more,
cover up a little bit of that.
Man.
Oh. Cyborg was painful to look at.
Oh my God. Talk about like he was on set, right?
Yeah, he was on set.
Then why does his real parts look fake?
Behind the scenes stuff of him, and he's on set in like a tracksuit and like lights strapped to where like lights are emanating.
No, I expect that this, the robot stuff to look a little dot. His real face looked weird.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I don't. It was so, he looked terrible. Like from the moment he appears in full cyborg, like it's not so bad when he's got the hoodie on and the sweatpants and whatnot.
Right. He's hiding, kind of.
Yeah, but the second he shows up full cyborg, no.
Yeah, but he looks masterful compared to, I don't know, the main villain of the piece here.
Yeah, I actually thought Steppenwolf looked slightly better than Cyborg, but
you're adorable.
We're very thin degrees of separation here.
Steppenwolf looked like you said, he looked like a PlayStation 3.
He looked like straight out of God of War 2.
Yeah, just wow. Like I didn't believe he was in any shot for a second.
You know what he looked like? Remember that Beowulf movie they did?
Oh, no.
Years back?
Yeah,
I remember. Like Angelina Jolie was in it and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
He looked like he was a character from that movie.
Yeah. It was bad. It was not good. Very bad CGI for him. And let's address the great big elephant in the room, shall we? Please twirl, sir, because it's apropos here. In the words of the great Mr. Plinkett, Superman, what's wrong with your face? That lip, dude.
Oh.
Now, we all know the story,
Talk about
right?
a stiff upper lip.
We all know the story, right?
Yes.
They
shot. Henry Cavill was done shooting Justice League and then went on to shoot the next Mission Impossible movie in which his character has a mustache.
And he was not allowed to shave it by contract.
Right.
So they CGI'd his lip back on.
Yep.
They did a poor job.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. It wouldn't be that bad
if it wasn't every shot.
Let's talk about that for just a real quick moment, okay? We know there were reshoots.
Yes.
Did they basically reshoot everything with Superman in it?
I think it was. Because remember, they were advertising like he was going to be in the black suit?
Yeah.
The black resurrection suit?
Yeah. What happened with that?
No. I would say probably... Because also, it's tough to say because they never showed any Superman stuff in the trailers.
True.
So we ultimately don't know what was there and what wasn't there.
But
like, if you go back to the original first full trailer for Justice League, there's a lot of stuff. Like, there's always like one or two things from a trailer that don't make it into a movie.
Was there stuff, like a lot of stuff that didn't make it into a movie?
A lot of stuff.
Oh, wow. I'll have to go back and check that out. basically every shot of you could probably, if you take all the shots of Superman in the movie, you can count where he didn't have the mustache on one hand.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mustache cover up in this movie, man.
Oh, it was bad.
It was interesting, and like it wouldn't be that bad if they didn't like, close up on his face so often.
Yep.
There's like entire portions where he's monologuing to the camera.
Thankfully, though, it's the only part of Superman that is bad after he's brought back to life.
Yes. Okay.
This
Hang
movie,
on. I want to let's
focus on the negative.
I want to get all the negative out of the way because I
Yeah.
really do want to end on a positive note because I believe it or not, kids.
We got a lot
Again,
of positive
this
stuff
is
today.
me saying this. There are positives, and
Yes.
if they embrace them, there is a way forward. So let's just get all this bad stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
The plot is paper thin.
It's
Put the mother boxes together so we can recreate Apocalypse on Earth because reasons. It's the plot of Man of Steel, dude. We're
Yeah.
going to terraform Earth.
here's the thing with these movies, these giant like
The Doomsday Lights in the Sky.
not so much that, but like all the characters gathered together in one movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kevin Feige said it best. These are the annual issues.
Okay.
They don't need to have the deepest story,
No,
but a story would be appreciated.
it would help.
It was like we get more or less. It picks up right where, obviously some time has passed between the events of Batman vs. Superman and this, but not that much time has passed. And we get like little kind of vignettes of the characters that we're going to meet.
Yes.
What I do like,
But we're
Is
going
that-
on the negative here.
I know, but it kind of can't say one without the other. I do like that we didn't get origin stories for the characters we hadn't met yet rammed down our throats.
Nope, they can just kind of put them out there.
They just kind of put them out there. I think that's a way to go with, if this is the way you're choosing to do this,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not going to do each character gets their own movie, then we bring them all together. I appreciate not having to hear the origin for, I get
Everyone.
like a Cliff's Notes origin.
Sure.
Yeah.
If one at all. I don't think they gave Flash one at all.
He was hit by lightning.
That's more implied
Yeah.
than stated.
No, remember in the grave digging scene where they said,
We're gonna
so Cyborg
we're
says
gonna talk about that.
So you were
grave
hit
dig.
by lightning?
Yeah, we got to talk about that scene in a minute.
Yeah.
Actually, hey, let's just talk about it now. The grave digging scene.
Well, do you want to talk about Flash before
Okay,
get to the grave digging scene?
fine. The Flash is god awful.
Flash is terrible.
I hate everything.
Here's
about
the
him.
thing, though. The character that's being portrayed,
Yeah.
I said this to you when we were leaving the theater. The character is not portrayed is not a bad character. He could be an enjoyable character, but the second you're telling me that that's Barry Allen,
Yeah.
that's where it gets terrible.
Okay.
Because that's not Barry Allen.
Fair enough.
If you said it was Wally West,
Maybe.
it would be slightly less bad. It would be more tolerable.
Okay.
The costume is still god awful.
Oh, the costume is awful.
They try to explain the costume and they do a terrible job at it.
Did they even
Yeah,
try?
like-
I missed that.
Bruce is saying like what it's
Whatever.
made out of and everything.
Yeah, whatever.
And it's he's so bad. And at the same time, like, folks, if you haven't seen the movie, I got news for you. You've seen 90% of the Flash in this film just from what they show in the trailers.
Yet somehow there's more to be annoyed by. Actually.
Yeah. It's the fact that they're saying this is Barry Allen and it just
he's irritating. I know they were trying to make some lighthearted, quippy character into this movie to kind of give it a little levity, but he's just obnoxious.
If you said this character is Plastic Man, sure,
then you got some of
then you're fine.
fine, but the Flash, dude, I just don't like his. I don't like him. I don't like him. You know who I didn't mind, and I thought I'd hate him, but I didn't mind. As ironic as that is, I did not mind Aquaman.
All right.
He was fine.
You know what I think it is? Because we don't have... Aquaman is not to us what, like, Cap is to you or Spider-Man is to me or Daredevil is to both of us.
No.
We don't, like... So
Yeah.
we're more open to reinterpretation of that character.
Yes.
And I understand why they went in the direction that they did with that character, because like to the general public, Aquaman is the punchline.
Right.
Aquaman's the joke.
Not anymore, he's not.
No,
But
he's
here's
not.
the thing. I expected to be very annoyed by the bro shtick.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's not as heavy as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's actually it's okay. And I
Yeah.
did not mind him that much.
I didn't either. I
thought he worked.
I liked him.
Yeah.
He was, and you know what everybody's going like hard in on, really hating, that I did not mind at all. The whole oxygen bubble under the water that Mara did.
We're being pedantic here.
I'm like, you know what? Sound doesn't travel through water.
Yeah, well,
if they want to talk,
they
need oxygen.
Here's the problem with that, and it's not a problem for me. I don't care, right?
I thought it was
here's
fine.
the problem. What came out is that the way that they talked in Justice League is not going to be the way they're going to communicate in the Aquaman movie.
Oh, it's going to be different?
So
Okay.
you got a continuity flub there.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. No one cares. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that except for like the uber nerdy pedantic people.
Yeah. What else didn't we like?
What else did
The
we
Russian family.
Get out of Dodge, man.
Just like
they gave them all that screen time, and they were unlikely survivors amongst the parademons were shown to be like terrible killing machines.
Yeah.
For kind of anyway. They didn't get to these people.
I mean, I get that you don't leave the house, because if you leave the house, clearly you're going to die. But do we have to see that for like more screen time than Superman had?
Well, not only that, but like all they were there for was to set up the joke later.
Yeah.
They were just there for that joke.
And ironically, the joke they set up, they never paid off. When the girl got the bug spray.
Oh, well, there's that.
You're not going to pay that. Come on.
That's not the joke I meant.
No, I get.
The joke I meant was when the Flash saves them, but then Superman flies by with an apartment building.
It was so great.
That's all that was.
That's all it was. But you know what? Show them for like 2 scenes left, and it's worth it. The joke was still great.
It was. I guess that's something we liked. What else didn't we like? I mean, we've covered a lot of the base. It's not a coherent.
Got that.
It's not a coherent movie.
It's not coherent.
It's very scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder has some tells, my friend.
Zack Snyder, you pointed this out to me.
You know what one of his big tells is?
The butt?
Oh, he loves Gal Gadot's butt. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because, let's just be honest. But my God, man, there are like several shots.
Staggering how many shots she has shot from behind at a low angle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I never realized it until you pointed it out. And then you pointed it out. I could not see it. I was like, oh my God.
He's got kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I was going to say, I'm not really sure what shots were which with Whedon and
shots
Snyder.
With color,
but
Whedon. Shots without color, Snyder.
Well, it gets hard to tell sometimes, to be honest with you. The quippy stuff I'm going to assume was Whedon.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe not. I know Snyder took a lot of that criticism from Batman vs. Superman, and I'm sure Warner Brothers told him, look, you got to lighten this up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to tell what is what, and I don't know that we'll ever know for sure. But in any case, it is a very drastically toned movie. There's just tonal shifts all over the place that don't make a lot of sense. And I think the problem with the movie too is that they were fighting an uphill battle because the foundation that they laid with these previous films were all dreary messes. Now all of a sudden we're trying to be quippy and jokey and cheerful and brightening things up a little bit. It's a lot to overcome. They try though, and I say that to their credit. They try because they kind of succeed. Kind of.
Yeah, they're moments of genuine lightheartedness.
I'm trying.
One
to
of which is not a grave digging scene.
Okay, let's before we get to the good stuff, the grave digging scene. All right, look. Okay, let's get this out of the way. You know Superman.
There are so many other ways you could have brought Superman back than the way you decided to do it.
Right. Even if your premise of bringing him, the premise of
they basically Frankensteined him.
The premise of bringing him back is fine. The mother box creates life to some degree, so we're going to regenerate Superman with it. Okay, fine. From like an explanation standpoint, that works. But what you don't do is set that up and then have two characters dig up his corpse
Yep.
and carry the casket into, like, and then take his body out and put it in the, oh my God, it was so weird.
So just, and it wouldn't be a show if we didn't say it. Not for nothing. You've got Flash and Cyborg digging up Superman.
Yeah.
First off, Flash is digging him up very slowly.
Yeah,
for what he's capable of doing.
He can do that a lot faster.
Second off, Cyborg, I believe, is capable of morphing his appendages into
shovel apparatus.
There you go. Okay. More like a bulldozer apparatus, something like that.
Sure.
2 scoops of raisins, buddy. Get that sucker out of there.
Well, I think they established he didn't have full control of himself, which conveniently happens when Superman is resurrected, by the way. Suddenly he can't control himself and shoots at Superman. That whole little sequence was a little stupid,
Can we talk about Batman for a moment?
Sure.
Batman was not done well in this movie.
You don't think so?
Whereas with Batman versus Superman, after I was seeing it, I was like, wow, that was garbage, but I would like to see a Ben Affleck Batman in a movie that Zack Snyder has nothing to do with.
Okay, what didn't you like about Batman here?
He seemed uncertain of himself.
Okay.
He seemed confused at times.
Okay.
Him saying that Clark is a better human than he is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
Yeah.
There's a lot of unearned, and that's again, that comes back to the bad foundation we have laid.
Yeah.
And them trying to course correct it now. You haven't earned that. I know what you're trying to do, but you haven't earned it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if your previous 2 movies established that better, then he can say that. But here, it's like, dude, you tried to kill the guy in the last movie, like brutally. We made a movie about it.
Like a very like Batman and quips. There's a very fine, razor thin line to be walked there.
Okay.
And like there were times where they got it right, and then times where they got it wrong.
Okay.
Time where they got it right is, when Aquaman, I can't remember what he said to Batman when he's riding on the Batmobile, and Batman's like, at least I didn't bring a pitchfork.
Yeah.
That's a very on-character thing for Batman to say.
Okay.
When Superman says to Batman, I guess you really do like me, and Batman just kind of fumbling over his words saying, I don't, no. Just,
that's Whedon.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that out there right now. That's a Whedonism.
That just didn't work for...
That's fine.
For the character.
I'll
incoherent story, terrible visuals, all the characters.
If I can, though, when it comes to Batman, what you didn't like about him, his uncertainty and all that stuff, I'm going to defend this now. Listen to me. Oh my God. From a story standpoint, I'll defend that because he, in a point in the movie, does say to, Diana tells him, or he tells her, I can't do this forever. Or she says to him, you can't do this forever. And he says back to her, I can't do this now. Batman's at the end of the line here.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because you just established the Justice League, which goes back again to Batman versus Superman and Zack Snyder's raging mad on to make a Dark Knight Returns movie instead of setting up the universe for the future. Warner Brothers should have stepped in there. Now we have old Batman. And he's ready to hang it up.
Yep.
So how do you go forward with him? See, planning. The biggest problem I see in this movie, lack of planning.
Yes.
Warner Brothers it's clear to me now. They are flying by the seat of their pants with every film.
They have a ship without a captain.
Yes, absolutely. They've got a whole bunch of people doing stuff, and no one's at the top, like going like, you do this, you do this, you do this, and then we're gonna reach our destination. There is no destination in sight.
They have like a 5 or 10 year plan for what movies are coming out, but they have no plan for what's happening in these movies.
Correct. It's just a total scattershot mess. All right. I think that covers everything we did not like about it. Oh, the convenient, lame way they deal with Steppenwolf too, by the way. Spoilers.
With Superman beating him up?
Superman shows up and starts beating him up, but then like the way the parademons turn on him because now he's afraid and they smell fear. That's hokey by comic book standards. Yeah, and then he magically gets beamed away with no explanation. He just does.
I think like once it's clear that Steppenwolf has failed, you have a golden opportunity to give us the ever so slightest glimpse of Darkseid.
Sure.
Yanking him back to Apocalypse.
Yeah, it was pretty weak. The
Yeah.
way that was lame, dude. That was real lame.
Yeah.
And one more thing I did not like,
What's up?
and this is like the post-credit scene. Let's just get to it now because I didn't like it. Here's why I don't like it. Number one, Jesse Eisenberg is back as Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, we're going to commit to this guy? Okay. I have no real opinion on Deathstroke.
I think he looks great.
He looks cool.
He looks off the page.
That's fine. That's cool. That's
Joe
cool.
Manganiello, great.
Yes.
Is great casting.
That's great. He looks cool. Here's the problem. I just watched a movie where the Justice League and Superman dealt with a god
yeah.
and beat him. You're going to tell me...
You don't lead with the Fourth World New Gods and then go to Legion of Doom.
You're going to tell me that now I'm supposed to be afraid of Lex Luthor, Jesse Eisenberg iteration, mind you.
Yeah.
And this guy with a
sword?
Dude with a sword, they're going to be a threat to the League? Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
I believe you. I mean, come on, man. That's a little...
It's the problem that DC runs into that Marvel doesn't always have is that, I mean, like with the exception of Thor, the DC characters are always regarded as gods.
Yes. And that can be problematic, but it can also work to their benefit.
Yeah. And herein lies where it's problematic. Because as James T. Kirk once said, why does God need a starship?
Kind of like that. Yeah. All right. Let's talk positive.
Yep.
Because believe it or not, I have positive things to say here. Here's where I think they can fix all of this. There are points in this film when the teamwork stuff jibes really well. It works. And there are points in this film where you are going to mentally compare and contrast to the Avengers, whether you want to or not. You just will. It's what we know. Where I see these characters on the screen in their costumes together, and they look very different than the Avengers look. They look more fantastical. They look more comic booky, for lack of a better word. They just look a little more...
In a good way.
In a good way. And when they start steering into that aesthetic, and when they start really putting forth the worlds that they inhabit, because the Avengers world is our world.
Yeah.
It's the world outside your window, as Joe Quesada likes.
Slightly different rules.
Slightly different rules and a little more tech, but by and large, the Marvel flicks take place in the real world, right? Yeah. In Justice League, there's parts when we're in Gotham, and it's so Gotham-y.
Yeah.
It's like blatantly Gotham-y. Then there's parts where we're like in Atlantis, and it's like, oh, we're in Atlantis now. Then we're in Themyscira, and we're in Themyscira now, and it's all very fantastical. And none of it's played for laughs, and none of it's played, I'm not saying it's played super serious either.
Yeah.
It's just presented. And that works.
Yeah.
And when they're just kind of being DC Justice League-y on the screen together, wow, it works.
This is our world. It looks like your world, but it's not.
Kind of.
This is our world, a world where places like Gotham and Themyscira and Metropolis can exist. Still pisses me off that Gotham and Metropolis are separated by a bay.
That's never going to make sense to me. But for what especially since it never stops raining in Gotham ever, and the sun never comes out, but in Metropolis it's sun.
Pretty much. But Gotham looked great.
Yeah.
Like
J.K. Simmons as Gordon.
Fantastic.
I like it a lot, actually. Hearing those little twinges of that Batman theme, I know you don't like it, but
I wasn't crazy about it.
Here's the thing, though. Hearing it just, with that visual, this aesthetic I'm talking about, and that song, when it kicks in, it made me feel like that's what I want this to be. It's almost like watching a live action adaptation of the Batman animated series.
Yeah, no, I can get behind that.
Or Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
Yep.
And when those parts of the movie happen, I literally was sitting there going like, see this? I want to see.
Yeah.
Not the rest of this dreary business. And you try and play it realistic or whatever.
When Gotham is your bright point.
No, it wasn't just Gotham though. Like there's points when the League is together doing stuff.
No, I know what you're saying.
And like when Superman shows up and he's radiant in color now, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And he's full on Superman.
They fixed Superman.
They fixed Superman in a big bad way.
Not only did they fix Superman, they fixed him in less than 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah. Yeah. And all he had to do was smile and like look like he was having fun being Superman.
Yeah.
That's all he had to do.
Yeah. And just, I believe in truth and justice, and punches the bad guy and making quips about, okay, yeah, I actually wish I was dead now.
He's great.
It is finally a Superman that you're going to snicker, but it is finally a Superman that gives us hope.
Yeah, it's for real. You're being hokey. You're using wordplay here, but it's true. It's like, wow, that's Superman. That's actually Superman there.
Yeah.
And like, again,
it's Superman. In the moment they say, you can pinpoint the moment they saved him, because he's just shown up at this gigantic fight that the fate of the world hinges on.
Yeah.
And it's clear that he is the tipping scale in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
But moments after he shows up in the fight, he realizes there are people in danger.
Yep.
And he goes to save them.
He sure does.
And you can be cynical about it and say, it's overcompensation from everything that happened in Man of Steel.
Oh, it absolutely is. But
and that's fine. But it's overcompensation we needed.
Yep. Yeah,
we needed to see Superman saving people.
And he does. And he a whole building.
The whole apartment building just hikes it up on his back. Yeah, the film feels like a comic book. And I say that in the most good, positive way. It has that comic book fun to it at times. It's like you said, when they're steering into the DC comics-ness of it, you see a lot that they can build on moving forward.
That's what I'm getting at.
Embrace your world for what it is. Don't try and cram it into the real world.
And that's the problem.
Marvel already did it, and they've done it better since their inception in the comic books. DC has always been
a little more fantastical.
Yeah, 1 foot in reality, 1 foot in fantasy.
Look at their locales. Look no further than their locales.
Gotham,
Marvel,
Metropolis,
right? Marvel,
Star City, Coast City.
These are
Fawcett City.
These are not real places.
Yeah,
Marvel has been New York.
Yep.
Right.
New York.
Right.
Westchester.
Right. Real. And so like.
It's funny that we say this and the next Marvel film is taking place in a made-up country.
That's fine. No, hey, look, I know, but on the foundation of everything that we've seen before. Where was I? I lost my place, man. I'm sorry. The foundation of the Justice League movie, unfortunately, was placed on Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, which are not that tone. They are not that look, Man of Steel, like it or not, tried to put Superman in a modern, and I'm air quoting, but I'm not really air quoting, real context.
Yeah.
They did. They tried to make a real movie with Superman in it. Then Batman vs. Superman was the next step of that.
Yeah. They asked in Man of Steel. They asked an interesting question of what would today's world reaction to Superman be.
Right.
They asked a question and they answered it in Batman vs. Superman. The problem is you're not putting Superman in that equation. You're not letting the character be even Batman says in this movie, the beacon that he should be. Putting that character, like the Christopher Reeve Superman, the idealistic, hopeful Superman, into that question, into that world, makes for a much better story than what they actually did.
Right.
I'm trying to think what else we liked. The scene, the big, you could say what you will about the visual effects, but the scene where they're telling about the first time Steppenwolf came to Earth and the big battle. The armies of Atlantis, the armies of Themyscira, the armies of gods and men. We see a Green Lantern.
That was kind of neat.
In that scene.
We did.
And did we see Shazam in that scene?
Oh God, I don't know.
The dude that was shooting the lightning at him?
Oh, did we? I don't know.
Like, you
I
can
don't know.
argue it was Zeus, maybe.
I'm going to say Zeus because he's one of the old gods, and the old gods are gone, and the new gods are coming. So I'm going to, especially when you consider Wonder Woman, which again I just saw on the plane, so I can reference this now. Zeus is one of the old gods, and Ares, did he kill all the old gods or something like that? So I'm going to go with Zeus there.
Yeah.
That Green Lantern inclusion was kind of interesting because, like, it's subtle, but it's there. It's a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not only that, is a Green Lantern that gets killed.
Yeah, and the ring flies
goes
away.
off to find.
It does introduce an interesting plot hole, though. And again, these movies and plots. So these mother boxes are so powerful, and they're so dangerous because they can open up a door to apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Good thing they kept them all on Earth.
Yeah.
Hey, Green Lantern, why don't you take one back to space?
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that out there. Anyway, back to stuff we liked. That was kind of neat.
Like, I think you miss a real, like, I know you say you're planning a Green Lantern Corps movie.
Yeah.
But you miss a real opportunity in this movie to reintroduce the Green Lantern.
I half expected him to show up at a certain point.
I was hoping for a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Not in the form of any of the Green Lanterns we know, like Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner. None of those. You do Abin Sur.
Oh, okay.
And he dies at the end of the movie.
Could do that, sure.
And then the ring goes off. And then you've got your perfect setup to reintroduce. Pick whatever one you want to use.
Let's go with John Stewart.
I'm a Hal Jordan guy, but I'm okay with John Stewart as well.
I think we got to put Hal to bed for a little while just because of Ryan Reynolds factor and all that. Let's do something new and exciting. Let's put John Stewart in there. Just for the sake of new. That was cool. Superman's ability to be as fast as the Flash. That was clever. Because we spend the movie setting up that Flash is fast and no one can see him because he's so fast. And then when Superman comes back to life and the Flash is going to like run around him and do whatever he's going to do,
the
and
one
Superman
moment,
looks over like, dude, I see you.
The
Get
one
outta here.
moment I didn't mind the Flash was his reaction to that.
He was scared.
That like, oh crap,
Right.
look on his face.
And while we're talking about that, the first post-credit scene, that was adorable.
Yep.
And
We get
I
a
didn't
Flash
expect it, but
Superman race.
that's fantastic. That's fan service I can appreciate right there.
And you know what's funny? In the you probably going to balk at it because it's Jeff Johns, but Jeff Johns had an instant with like one line where he put that entire debate to rest of who was faster. Because like in Flash Rebirth, when they brought Barry Allen back,
Yeah.
Barry Allen's trying, if I remember the story correctly, Barry Allen is trying to outrun Death, the Black Racer,
Yep. Okay.
and trying to channel the Speed Force somehow, but he knows he's going to die if he does it properly. And Superman is flying next to him, and he's trying to stop him so he can help him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't get away from me. We've raced a bunch of times, and you know, I've even won a couple of those. And Barry just looks over and goes, "Oh, Clark, those were for charity." And
cute.
then it just shoots on ahead of him. So yeah, the Flash is faster than Superman. I would say the Barry Allen Flash is faster than Superman.
My Superman defense goes up and just says Superman's as fast as he needs to be for any given story. So let's put that in there. I don't really care who's faster, to be honest with you. I just like the fact that they included that in the movie. That was great.
Yeah, that was a great nod to. That was the fan service that's been lacking.
Yeah.
Like the moments of fan service in the previous films leading up to this, even in Wonder Woman, which I think is a really good movie, are few and far between.
Yeah, they don't
like
give you a lot.
Suicide Squad had like one brief moment of fan service where you see Harley Quinn in the classic costume.
Right.
Other than that, the movie's just not good.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fan service to be found.
People like fan service once in a while.
Yeah.
Man. I think I've said what I liked about this movie. When you get those parts where it all just seems to work, hard to explain, but you'll know when you see it.
Yeah.
I saw it unfold on screen, and I was like, that right there, do that. Just do that more.
Just keep doing that. Alfred's great. I love Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Look, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't even mind Affleck as Batman. I kind of like him. I kind of like him as Batman.
Affleck as Batman. I just don't like the way they're handling the character.
Correct. I don't like him as old man Batman.
I don't like him as Batgun.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, the gun factor.
Yeah.
But
I love like at the end of the movie where like he finally goes back into Wayne Manor and is looking to set it up as like he talks about the table with the chairs.
Yeah.
So I really, it's like we've always said, we want these movies to be good.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping that after this, after they've seen what doesn't work, they can move on and take a different approach.
I guess my question
that being said,
will there be another
box office?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Will there be another one?
Typically a superhero film. I'm not even saying Marvel. I'm just saying superhero films in general because all the previous DC movies leading up to this
they've made bank.
Clearing $100 million in an opening weekend is a given.
Sure.
The initial estimates for Justice League were, I think, around 120, 130 million. Then, as it got closer, they dumbed it down to like 110 million. Then, I think on Saturday, they dropped it down to 96 million.
Ooh.
Then I think it dropped one more time to like 92 million, and it got over 92 million, but I don't think it broke 96 million for an opening weekend.
That's got to be seen as a disappointment.
A huge disappointment. It's doing well internationally.
Yeah, I think
we live in a world now where you have to take international box office into consideration.
I should have told you this up front on the start of the show. I saw more advertisements for this movie in Thailand than I did here.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of advertisements for it in Thailand.
Yep,
a lot.
And I can see. Because, like, you have Universal that's scrapping their Monster Universe after one big flop.
Yeah.
I don't think there's flop and there's not performing to expectation. I don't think this film is a flop. I think it's just not performing to expectation.
Right.
So we'll see where they're willing to go beyond Aquaman. Because Aquaman is done and in the can.
Yeah.
And I guess next up is Suicide Squad 2. Which they recently announced that's what they're going to use to introduce Black Adam. There are very few worlds in which you can convince me in a multiverse universe. I'm not going to say there's no worlds, but there's very few worlds where you can convince me or Suicide Squad's a threat to Black Adam.
Is there a demand for a Suicide Squad 2? Really? Who's clamoring for that?
I think aside from Batman versus Superman, Suicide Squad was, up until Wonder Woman, was the best one overall, both domestic and internationally, that performed. And it gives you an excuse for more Harley Quinn. She's a bankable character. I think you sign.
Yeah, I know.
In the world we live in now, where you're making a extended universe, you sign these people for multiple films.
Oy, that's a flimsy reason to make a second movie. That.
Listen, I said it from the moment they announced it. I am not opposed to a Suicide Squad film, but you don't do it as early as they did it.
No.
You open each film with somebody who's eventually going to be a member of the Suicide Squad.
Sure.
You open the film with them getting caught.
Something like that, sure.
And then, like, later on down the road, like, the Suicide... Like, if they were doing it like Marvel does it, and they did, like, solo films leading up to Justice League... The Suicide Squad should be the first film after Justice League.
I don't think they need to copy Marvel, and especially after seeing Justice League, I definitely don't think they need to copy Marvel.
No, do your own thing. Just do it well.
There is a viable way for them to do things and do it well, and I believe that now. I mean, I really do. Justice League showed it to me in glimpses. It's there though. If they choose to accept it, it's there.
Really quick, another thing that I really liked, even though I know you're not a fan of this scene, the initial Wonder Woman scene, with the terrorists showing up with the bomb and whatnot,
right?
the Elfman score during that scene is extremely Elfman-y. It took me back to like Batman and Batman Returns.
Yeah, the score was kind of understated. And for an Elfman
For the most part,
it's
it was.
pretty stock Hollywood score.
Yeah.
Which for
But
Danny,
for that scene, like if you were
for
to
Danny
watch,
Elfman, I want more than that.
if you were to watch that movie again, I would say pay attention to that scene.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Elfman's doing what Elfman does
in that one
scene.
in that scene.
Yeah.
Okay. I prefer him to do his thing across the board. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I really want to say here. It's got glimpses of what could be. Whether or not they choose to go down that route, whether they're going to get the opportunity, I don't know.
Are you hopeful? Are you more hopeful for the future of DC comic book films now than you were before you saw the film?
Yes and no. Yes, because I've seen what I think is a way forward that I'd like to see more of. But no, because I don't know that this is going to be viable enough at the box office to justify them doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then not to mention, I don't want to pick on people too much here, but the fan reaction to this movie from that sect of fans that want this Zack Snyder cut because they feel that Justice League has been undermined by Joss Whedon's lighthearted tendencies. Is that going to steer the ship back to the darkness? Because, like, I mean, seriously, is Warner Brothers going to look at the underperformance of this movie and go, like, we were doing better when we were doing it dark?
I don't think so.
God, I hope not.
I think ultimately something like a Zack Snyder cut or an extended cut gets like a DVD release.
Yeah.
But, when they released the extended version of Batman Superman, did you hear a huge outcry for, Snyder to be still the guiding force?
No.
Yeah.
But now that he's a martyr, kind of.
You know what? I don't think he's a martyr.
Well, I know better, but to these fans, he is.
Yeah.
Look, the guy willingly stepped aside because his daughter committed suicide.
Yeah, I mean,
okay?
We're not... The situation in which it happened, I would not wish on anyone.
No, but I want to be clear about this. That's why he left. But to these people, they think he was shoved out the door.
Yeah.
They think he was kicked off the movie.
I think... Don't get me wrong. I think once he left, Warner Brothers kind of slid the latch across the lock behind him.
And that's their prerogative. But let's be clear about motivations here.
Yeah.
Snyder left. Justifiably.
Yep.
So let's not pretend that he's some victim of the studio, casting him aside.
Yeah.
For the new hotness.
And I don't think... See, I like the 300 movie. I like the Watchmen movie. I think there's fantastical stories out there that Zack Snyder can tell and tell well. I just don't think these are...
No, he was a bad fit from the start.
I don't think these fit for what the tone should be.
Yeah,
they don't fit for his style.
No,
he's got a good style. He can put a beautiful picture on the screen.
Yeah, but
it just doesn't fit in with the tone of what he's trying to interpret.
He can put a good picture of, but he can't make a movie. You know what I'm saying?
He can make a movie.
He's a very visual director. It doesn't that, but there's more to a movie than just like that looks cool. And I feel like, bro, it looks cool. That's Zack Snyder 101. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to dwell on the negative here. I honestly, there are positive things in this film to like. And if they can kind of figure that stuff out and embrace it, then maybe they got something.
Yeah.
Honestly. But again, I fear that it's too late. And maybe they're not going to get
and I don't want
chance.
it to be too late.
I know.
I want to see the first trailer to Aquaman, and I want that to get me really excited. Like, they're not holding anything back because like the villains are going to be Ocean Master and Black Manta.
Oh, okay.
Like what's his rogues gallery after that? You're clearly not saving anything for Aquaman 2. So yeah.
Well,
want it to be good.
There you go. I don't know that I have hope, but I'm a little more optimistic than I was. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
There you go.
I am hopeful.
Final thought. I'm sorry. It came back to me. I wanted to say this. Here's the problem, as I see it, ultimately. The ultimate problem.
Okay.
The Avengers was a culmination of all this stuff, and the Avengers are, a big deal, right?
And the Avengers also had the advantage of getting there first.
They did. That's fine. That's all.
Being
right.
that thing we had never seen before.
Right. Here we're talking about the Justice League.
Yep.
The big guns.
Mm-hmm.
What this movie is and what it should have been are very different. The Justice League movie should have been an event, okay?
The Justice League
movie should have
movie
been everything you've ever wanted, ever. And it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's just not even close. Not in story, not in execution. It's totally in a way, it's totally forgettable. It's a platform for other stuff, and maybe that's all it is.
Yeah.
And
the
that's
Justice
not what
League
it
movie
should
should be in that conversation of films that I think will hit $1 billion domestically.
You're looking at it from
it's not.
Sure, financially, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying from a
it's like you said earlier, people vote for with their wallets.
Yeah, and I think if it's underperforming, then DC's rep has caught up with it, and they are.
Yeah,
and that's in a way that's kind of a shame, because I think, again, there is stuff here. There really is. There is stuff in this movie that I want to work, but we'll see if it does. All right, I'm done. I've gotten it all out there.
You're like Peter Griffin in the movie theater. Done.
No, I'm not even angry.
No, it's fine. I think
I thought I would loathe this movie, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I was more disappointed than I was upset.
Yeah,
honestly. So, and I came out with positives, more than I thought I'd have.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Despite being a terrible film, not a dumpster fire.
No, I would say if you want to see it, maybe ultimately wait for Redbox or catch a matinee.
Sure, but I mean, I'm telling you that there is stuff to like in it, but it's just not a good movie. Don't go out of your way. But if you have the same reservations and concerns about the dark, dreary Murderverse, this will alleviate some of that and show you some stuff that you can go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just happens to be in a movie that is not that good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, done.
Done. Okay, folks. Whew.
Marathon, man.
That was a big one. If you have any questions or comments that you'd like to shoot us, you can find us at the following locations. You can go to Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to Facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. We're back after a bit of a hiatus. I know it was longer for us than it was for you guys. We appreciate you coming back to us. We would also really appreciate sharing new episode announcements, retweeting, things of that nature would be fantastic. And next week we're going to get into Punisher and see how we react to that.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Frank.
Thanks. My name's Drew, by the way.
Well, no, I was talking about the Punisher.
Oh.
But welcome back to you.
Thank you.
Back at it. Tired.
All right, we're back.
All right. Court's adjourned. Going to bed.